Hey, good morning, everyone. We are live in the courtroom already. And I think you guys only hear me in one ear. That's me, not you. Let me fix it. Okay, you should feel complete now. I'm in both ears, loud and clear. You got this shiz up on the big screen, Jamie. Hello, everyone. If Streamlabs is kicking in, we've got new commands. We've got new merch. We got true crime news and space nerd mug and t-shirt. So nothing crazy, but it is cute shit. So, hey, Skip Tracer. I'm seeing a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time. It's good to see you guys. If you haven't been in the chat or haven't said anything in a while, welcome. Make yourself known. And say hello. Say hello to your mods. They are very important here. And if you need anything during the stream, my beautiful Frankie, just let one of the mods know if you need anything. Oh, thanks, Potato. Potato ordered herself a True Crime and Nerd t-shirt. Okay, here's our judge. Let me get our audio set here. I got this all together for you guys. I was busy, busy bee. Schmilky, welcome. It's aluminum, bitch. Welcome, babe. Thanks for joining. All right, let's see. Can you hear this?
Oh, whoops.
Yes, you can. Hello, CR and Mandy Joe and Audra D, CR, Allison Beatty. Hello, you guys. Melissa B. And of course, the moderators, Angie B, Incognito Potato, coming at us across the pond, HJ, and who else? Angie B. Do we have Mike Sander? Megan Ambrose. Megan is making an appearance today. What up, Meg? What's up, Crazy Crafter? Hey, BB. Well, you guys are special. Aw, that's so nice. We got like the nicest email yesterday from BB Mommy. BB Mommy, we shared that among all of us on the team. And I just want to say thank you for sending that because you don't hear that too often. You know, you don't get the praises too often, but that was really, really nice. And I'm glad that you feel comfortable and feel welcome in the chat because that's what we want. You know, we're open to opinions, of course, first and foremost, but it's always respectful. And I love the people that keep coming back to our chats because you're our tribe. You know, we've found each other and we're one of the same in many ways. So I want to thank you for that. Mary ended up on the live for tomorrow. Hey, Necro, thanks for saying hi. You do not have to be shy, but I understand. Not everybody likes to pipe up and chat all the time, but pipe up and say hi every now and then if you're not a chatter. It's good to see you. Mm-hmm. It really was nice. It was a really nice email. Mandy says she wasn't CC'd on the email. Now she's worried. It is all exactly, Mary. Mandy. I don't think we have that problem with you, Mandy.
Oh, whoops.
Hey, Marie from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Howdy. God, isn't it crazy how we reach across the world, you know? So we do have our stock trial super chat weekly goal still going on. It's looking a little weak. I understand it's tough times. And it's not a big deal. I'm not stressing. We do have a member goal that we made 50% in one day, and we have 3 days to go. And special thanks to Mike Sanner yesterday for doing like a gift train, Angie B, and I can't remember who else, but Mike came in hot, giving away like 10 memberships at once. Hello, Monkey Biz. You're working now, so you're going to be listening? Well, thanks for saying hi. Lisa B, any news on your other channel yet? No, I can't reapply for monetization until April 22nd. And isn't that convenient? Our paydays, like I told you guys, we get paid once a month. So our paydays are on the 21st of every month. So they're like, oh, you can reapply on the 22nd because I'm not going to get paid on the 21st. Do you get what I'm saying? They took my whole month away and they're like, oh, well, you can reapply when the new month starts. It's like their way of just getting away with not paying you for a month or something. Worcester Sauce. Hi. She says, I'm listening whilst preparing dinner. Given the fallout. So looking forward to today's testimony. I don't know what witnesses we're going to have today.
Okay. So we're good? We're okay. All right. Okay. Okay. That's okay.
Okay. I played that for my husband last night and he's like, what was that? I I'm like, dude, that was the judge. Thank you, CR, for your support. Is our alert box working, guys?
Roberta.
There it goes. I haven't updated that yet with new sounds, but I'm working on it. I want to make this channel totally different. And you know, if we do get the other one back and I'm able to continue forward on that one, we can all brainstorm and use this channel for something. We can maybe change it up a bit. I don't know. I'm open. Hey, Brookie. Thank you, Peaky. Jamie, I do that every day. And I sit down here and I start to chat with you guys. And I don't want to get up and do anything. But yesterday we got like derailed because it was like they were finishing up the jury selection yesterday. Hello, my newest subscriber, Michael Miller. Michael Miller in the house. Welcome, Michael. AI and conspiracy theories, that would keep us going over here for sure. Space. AI, conspiracy theories, space, what's going on in the world today, Chinese balloons, etc., etc. Mary P says, I think you should start a network, but we can talk about that later. Are you talking about like a syndicated network? We're all a network of channels. I think that would be really cool. Thank you, Truth Don't Lie. I appreciate that. Hunter's balloons, Hunter's nuts. Is that what you wanted me to say, Heather? I know you did. These nuts. That would be cool, wouldn't it? But it's hard to find other creators in the true crime community that are not competing with you. That's what I've found to be the biggest problem, is that creators are pitted against creators. And I don't do that. Like, I don't play that game. And I'll tell you why in a second. The membership link, I actually pinned it at the top of chat. I am so organized right now, but I'm bound to find out what I forgot about, because there's got to be something. Mary P says it's in her grand plan to help me take over the world. Don't do it, Jay. Sounds like a dumpster fire. What does? The network? We don't stick to true crime. That's the secret. But I would need to know. Yeah, we need to know more, Mary. Mary has a business plan. And again, we are just waiting for this webinar to begin. We are on WebEx with Judge Werner. He's one of our favorites now. He has grown on us. We love Judge Werner. He's very thorough, though. I mean, I was really impressed with how comfortable he made the jury. I don't know if that's a good thing, though, Michael. I don't like to put people to sleep. That's a bad thing. I've had people say that, like, your voice is so soothing. It's like, I don't know if that's good or not. Cooperate. Yeah, that might not be a good idea, Mandy. I have learned the hard way. It's very hard to collab. Probably the only one that has ever been no drama that I've actually collabed with is John Crimes. And actually, I just heard from him the other day, and I was like, oh my God. Thank you so much, Truth Don't Lie. Welcome to the lounge. HJ, what link are you using? Because yesterday we had a huge problem with memberships. It's like something with the iPhone. Truth Don't Lie, welcome, and Peaky, welcome to the lounge. Overnight, we had Ricochet.
Creep Town, dude.
Ricochet subscribed. Vicky subscribed while we were sleeping. Mike
Creep
Adkins.
Town, dude.
And Snowmat.
Creep Town, dude.
We also had Whitney and Ms. William Blake subscribe
Creep Town,
overnight.
dude.
How fun. Well, hi, Summer. I
Creep
do
Town, dude.
I do have David. Would you like to hear some David? HJ misses all of it. She misses everything about it. Now you guys have some relaxing. All right. Thanks, Michael. That's a little bit better. You guys have some commands that you can use during chat. If I am muted, like the idiot that I am sometimes, you can put exclamation point mute or unmute rather. Yes, very competitive and turns to drama. There's got to be mature creators out there, but I have yet to find them all. Yeah, that's one of my dogs. She just left me though. She stranded me. So you guys have exclamation point unmute. You guys can test them right now if you want. Hey, Cujo. And and then you have, see, I should see the chat fill up with that, right? If I'm muted, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll see that quicker. I know people are going to fuck with me with that now. And Potato, I love your new Potato. He's very investigative looking. The investigative Potato. Unmute looking ass. Yep, and then we have what? And then we also have another one. And I can't remember what it is now. Let me look. Oh, for Ganon. This one is for the Ganon throughout the Ganon trial. It's exclamation point justice. Go ahead and try that out. Let's put a sea of blue in the chat for justice for little Ganon. And then you can also use exclamation point X, AX. And if you ever want to access all of these, I'm going to give you a link.
Creep Town, dude.
We just got a new subscriber, Whitney. Thank you for subscribing, Whit. Oh, is it too long? Ooh, those are really long, aren't they? Holy. Axe. Joe. Ask the mighty 8-ball a question and be shocked by its wisdom. Oh, here we go, guys.
In the courtroom.
It's our favorite judge.
Oh, thank you.
Enjoy the stream.
Is there anything we need to take up outside the presence of the jury at this point in time? Prosecution? Defense? Yes. Okay, let's go ahead and bring the jury in.
Oh boy. We good?
Okay. So we're good? We're okay. All right. Okay. Okay. That's okay.
Okay. He is the best. All right, let's get this pulled up. Hopefully we'll be able to see the evidence again today, but it looks like they moved the camera. They must have realized yesterday we could see Letecia and the TV screen, but Letecia is not sitting there yet. I don't know. Maybe she's over to the side. See, that's some bullshit. She shouldn't be able to be hidden. Do you guys think? I think she should have to be front and center and face the people. Face the people, Miss Stauch. All right. Well, that's
Just
the
fine.
full screen. I'm gonna get rid of. I'm gonna get
I
rid
can
of
hear him
the.
back there. So
It's not me, Judge. I would never do that. I'm totally compliant with your orders.
all rise for the jury, please.
Nice trash can. All right, I'm going to get the judge up here on another screen. Yep, they sure did, Shelley. Sucks.
Okay. So we're good? We're okay. All right. Okay. Okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Oh, whoops. Thank you. You may all be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 135A, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning,
We're
Judge.
going to start the day, as we will every day from here on out, with a question. Has anything occurred since we were last together that causes any of you to believe that you could not continue to serve as a fair and impartial juror in this case? If so, please raise your hand. No response? All right, yesterday we finished the day with the opening statements of both the prosecution and the defense. At this point in time, the prosecution will be calling their witnesses. Mr. Allen, call your first witness, please. Mr. Stauch, if you would step forward and raise your right hand, please, sir.
Mr. Stauch, so this is Gannon's father. Gannon's father is taking the stand first.
Mr. Stauch, if you'd raise your right hand, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Go ahead and have a seat in the witness stand. Please watch your step as you step into the stand. Mr. Allen?
Thank you, Ron. How will you please introduce yourself to this jury and spell your name for the record?
Al Stauch, and that's Stauch, and Gannon's father.
Now, I wanted to start by talking a little bit about you.
You may.
They need to fix the lawyer's mic situation.
What is people's exhibit number one?
That's my boy.
Gannon? Yes, say yes or no.
Yes.
I move for admission of people's exhibit one.
Defense? Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Go ahead.
I would object to it.
I can't see it.
It's just.
Okay. We need to take it down, though, if it's all right.
I want to have you tell the jury a little bit about your son. How old was he when you lost him?
He's 11.
When was he born?
September 29th, 2008. No, he was 4 months early. 1 pound and 6 ounces.
You can't even hear the lawyer.
Who is Gannon's mother?
Landon Hyatt. Oh, I think her name's Bullard now. Landon Bullard.
Were you married with Landon when Gannon was born?
I was, yes.
Gannon have a little sister?
Yes. Lena.
Straight for the jury, how big Gannon was? First got the whole.
Yeah, so as I said, he was born on September 29th, and it was about a month after that. I think it was October 20th. I got to hold him for the first time, and that's how big he was right there. And the last time I ever got to hold him, he was in a box about that big as well. 6 months after he died.
I can't.
Was he in the hospital for a short amount of time after?
Yeah, I believe we brought him home in January. if I remember correctly, towards the end of January or sometime in January of 2009. So about 3.5 months in the hospital.
Did he have any issues that you guys overcome?
Someone call the courthouse and tell him.
Yeah, early on he had a lot of lung issues. Actually, while he was in the hospital, he had quite a number of surgeries. Hernia. He had some, like I said, I think it was lung collapse one time. So he had a chest tube. Also was on a feeding tube, and a lot of things that go along with being a preemie. After that, he did take a while to overcome his lung issues. He had pneumonia and RSV, I think at the same time at one point. I mean, the only two long lasting things he had from it, he just had some stomach issues where he had trouble going to the bathroom, and then he did have ADHD.
Was he, did he sort of lag in size to kids similarly aged?
Not really. I mean, other than at his birth, obviously he was very, very small, 1 pound, 6 ounces. But once he caught up, I think we held him back a grade or a year just to allow him to catch up a little bit in size. But no, you couldn't tell any difference with the fifth graders the year he died. So
Where was he born? What state?
South Carolina, Florence, South Carolina.
When did you all move to?
I moved to Colorado in February of 2019. My Tisha and the kids had come a month earlier. I was stationed in Alaska prior to that. So,
What did Ganon like to do for fun?
oh, some of his favorite times, and all of his friends can attest to this, is just playing video games. I think he wanted to be a YouTube gamer. I think he actually was able to make one video and put it on YouTube, so it's out there. But playing Sonic and actually Mario was his favorite. So that was some of the favorite things I ever got to do with him. So
Up on your witness stand, you should also have a binder there. You see that?
yes, sir.
It's going to get a little crowded up there. Slot camera there. Stand in front of me. Stay there too. Open it up. Should be the first exhibit.
Yes.
What is people's exhibit?
Excuse me. That's a picture of Lena. Yes, sir. That would have been probably 2018 at our house in Myrtle Beach.
Information of people's.
Defense. Exhibit number 2 will be admitted. All right. Oops. There you go.
Where was that photo taken?
Like I said, we owned a house in Myrtle Beach at that time, and I believe that would have been the fall of 2018.
So how old was Lena?
2012, so 6.5. Yeah, right. Thanks. Yeah, about 6.5 years old.
Was she also born early?
She was. She actually tried to come out a little earlier than Gannon. They were, always competitive with one another. But Gannon was born at 24 weeks. She tried to come out at 22. But I think it was actually 34 weeks of, being with her mom in her tummy there before she came out. So she was about 2 months early.
What was the relationship like between you?
Oh, obviously as much love as a sister and brother can have. I think a famous quote Lena said after Gannon died was, "I'm just going to miss getting on his nerves." So if that sums it up for you right there. But yeah, he loved his sister. And one thing I always urged him to do, and I know his mama did too, was to look after his little sister. And even getting off the bus and walking home, I used to fuss at him if he let her walk home alone. And it was 3 houses away. So that was kind of the theme for us. Just be with your sister and be together,
Were you and Ethan? How long were you and Lena married?
Just shy of 10 years. But dating and all, I think we were together 11 or so, 12 years.
You know the defendant in this case?
Yes, sir. I was married to her for 4 or 5 years, whatever it was.
When did you meet her?
I met her, I think somewhere along the way playing softball on one of the various teams we played on. But I didn't really get to know her until beginning of 2014, so January timeframe.
January, you said?
January of 2014 is when I started to, when I like met her and went out with her and started to get to know her.
This is not intended to embarrass anybody, but were you still married to Landon?
Yes, sir. We were separated and, you know, with the intent of getting divorced, going our separate ways. And that's when I met and started dating Tisha.
Did the defendant have her own?
She did. Harley.
You move in that binder to People's Exhibit number 3. Is that a picture of Carlos?
Sure is.
Is that a very accurate picture of her?
Yes, sir.
When was that photo taken?
Looks like, I mean, I think that would have been 2019. It looks like her high school graduation picture, if I'm not mistaken.
This time I move for admission of People's. Okay.
Exhibit 3 will be admitted.
Yes, sir.
Where was that photo taken?
I believe it was in Columbia, South Carolina, where the graduation was, somewhere in South Carolina. Because she would, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say she finished her high school at an online school that was based in South Carolina, so she went back for the graduation.
When you began your relationship with the defendant, South Carolina?
It was, yes, sir. Myrtle Beach.
When did you and the defendant get?
January 2015. Yes, sir.
You identify her and point to where she's sitting and describe what she's wearing?
T-shirt right there with the kind of green jacket on, bluish green jacket. Black.
Creek Town, dude.
The record will so reflect. Go ahead.
What do you do for work now?
I'm an officer in the Colorado National Guard in a full-time status.
So let's talk a little bit about a guard is typically.
Typically, yeah, 1 weekend a month and then a summer duty.
You said that you're full.
I am. So I am it's called AGR, and that's what I've been my whole career. Even starting in South Carolina, I was, it's active guard is what it is. Was there for rough 12 years or so as a recruiter and in other capacities. And then I took my commission as an officer and moved states. I didn't necessarily get transferred, but I moved states to Alaska as an officer, and then spent about 2 years there, and then been in Colorado since 2019 as an officer in the Colorado Guard. So my main duties are right now as a missile defense officer.
So let's talk a little bit about the family history. You said you got married in January 2015.
Sir.
Was that in South Carolina?
Yes, sir.
Alaska, when did you?
I went to, I got hired and went there. I reported in June. I had to come through here for some schooling. We call it TDY en route, but I got hired, went to school here, and then drove up to Alaska to be permanently stationed.
June of
2017.
Did the family to Alaska?
Somewhat. It was when I initially drove there, I had my 2 children with me, Lena and Gannon, and we made that trip, and one of the most memorable trips of my life. And then Tisha and Harley came along the way a little bit later, but they never really permanently moved there. They came for a couple weeks at a time, and then came and left and did whatever else.
Just a little bit. When what was the custody status?
Initially, well, I'll talk about during our separation, they both stayed, the kids stayed in the house, and me and Landon alternated time in the house so the kids could be as stable as possible during that tough time. Initially, the custody status, Landon had the majority time, but we were both in the same local area, so, you know, we did the best we could at sharing that time. But I think she moved in initially with her mom, and the kids stayed there with her. And that was the initial agreement.
And when you said she, just so that the record is clear, you're talking about Landon.
Landon, I'm sorry. Yes, Landon specifically had the custody arrangement.
At some point, custody
Yes, that would have been in March of 2018 while I was in Alaska.
You mentioned just a moment ago, driving to, I think.
Yes, sir.
So did you have custody of them before you actually got transferred to Alaska?
No, because that was 2017 when I took that trip initially. And then they were still with their mom, Landon, with the majority time, custody time. What they did was they spent the summer with me in Alaska, and then I flew them back home or back to their mother for the start of the next school year.
When did you move to Colorado?
I moved, me individually, I think I got boots on ground February 15th of 2019, I believe is the date I got here. And like I said, Tisha and the kids were here beginning of January, getting a house set and everything.
Record is clear, you keep. Safety.
The defendant, yeah.
You may.
Show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit number 4. Do you recognize this?
Yes, that looks like a map of Lorson Ranch neighborhood.
Does it have a specific address notated on that map?
It does.
What's that address?
That would have been our house at 6627 Mandan Drive.
Is that a Colorado Springs address?
It is.
Is that in El Paso County, Colorado?
It is.
You're going to move for admission of People's Exhibit number 4.
Mr. Tellini, exhibit number 4 will be admitted. Go ahead.
Substitute for a moment. Can you point out the label where the 6627 Mandan Drive address is?
Right here.
Is that where you lived when you moved to Colorado from Alaska?
Yeah, I think, just to be clear, initially, I think they had a little temporary housing on base, as you do when you PCS. And then Tisha, or the defendant, found that house for rent, and we moved in. And I think they were already in the house when I got here.
When did you all move into that house?
I don't remember the specific date. I know they were already in the house by the time I got here in the middle of February. So
February 2019, when you came from Alaska to here, you went to that.
I went directly to the house from the airport.
Okay. This already, but is that address in El Paso County, Colorado?
Yes, sir.
How long did you all live in that house?
I lived there, I guess, right at a year, because when everything happened with Gannon in January of 2020, the investigation started taking place, and we pretty much decided just to move out. And the landlord allowed us to break the lease at that point. And then, so it would have been early February of 2020 when we moved out officially.
So let's just go through just a general description of that house. Was it a 2-story, a rancher with a basement?
I'm not too savvy on specific style of houses, but it had a main floor and a basement.
Was the basement finished?
It was.
Was there also an unfinished area?
I mean, in the closet was unfinished, but all the areas we frequented in the house were finished.
What about where the furnace room was?
Yeah, when I said closet, that's what I was referring to, the furnace room, yes. I call it, yeah, because we kept the luggage and boxes and stuff in there. And there was another unfinished closet under the stairs as well. I'm sure we'll see that as well.
Where was the bedroom that you ended
On the main floor.
And then was there a level above that?
Negative.
Okay, so it's just the main floor and then a basement.
In the basement, yes, sir.
Who else had a bedroom?
Initially, it was Gannon when we first moved in, but at one point we switched Lena and Gannon to what we'll see as Gannon's bedroom, and Lena moved upstairs.
And how many other bedrooms were upstairs?
Just that one bedroom when you walk in the front door.
So 2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms total. Yep.
And then kid bedroom.
Yes, sir.
Is there a living room on that main level?
Yes, sir.
Kitchen.
Kitchen. Yes, sir.
Access to the garage on that main level?
Yeah, and the access included the laundry stuff, laundry room. So
And then what about downstairs?
downstairs was, as soon as you come down the stairs to the left was I called the closet, but the boiler room or whatever. And then Gannon's room right next to that. To the right was the I don't know, living room area in the basement. And then behind that was a bathroom and what was Harley's room, Harley's bedroom.
Have you look at the exhibit book? You can look at people's 5 through 12 and just give me a heads up when.
Okay,
What are those photos out?
just different viewpoints of the house you want me to go through specifically?
Yeah, so are the
Okay.
pictures of the 6627 Mandan Drive residence?
Yes, starting with the outside and working through the house.
So people's exhibit 5 is at the front of the house.
Yeah, there would be a front view where you can see the garage and the front door, yes.
People's exhibit 6, what is that?
That's as soon as you come in the front door, there's the coat closet to the left and then a view of the living room.
7.
That's walking into the house further, you can see the couch in the living room and the kitchen to the right, as well as the back sliding patio door. You can see what's behind the curtains, but that's what that is.
And 8.
Same thing, and it's a closer up view of the kitchen. You can kind of see the dishwasher and everything, but yeah, that's the kitchen area. 9 is basically looks like it's standing at the back sliding glass door where you can see the living room, the stairs down, and then the garage entryway there.
That would be the upstairs room.
Upstairs living room. That is a view of the master bedroom. As soon as you walk in. That is a view of the laundry area. And then the next door would be access to the garage. 12 is the garage.
Are those all fair and accurate representations of those areas of the front that you just described?
Yes, sir.
Remove for admission people's 5 through 12. Okay.
Exhibits 5 through 12 will be admitted. Go ahead. You may give me just a second, though. All right, go ahead.
So it's the front area of the garage door up and back.
It is.
Moving on to people's 6. So point out, and there's actually an extended pointer on behind it.
No.
Other side. Yeah, it's right here. Other side.
Other side? Oh, yes. Okay.
If you want to, you can just turn around and nothing is. Just make sure when you're pointing away from us that the furthest you're from, you can hear you look at.
Okay.
So what are we looking at here?
So, like I said, this is walking into the front door. This is what I used as my closet actually, but the front, what would be a coat closet. You can see the couch in the living room right there. As we walk forward, we'll see to the right is the kitchen, and this is a wall that covers the stairwell going down. But that's the living room area right in here on the main floor.
So the front door, would that be basically to our back in this photo?
Yes, as you walk in the front door is right behind us. Yes, sir.
Okay. People's exhibit number 7. Tell the jury what they're looking at there.
This is where I referenced the couch in the living room, kitchen area, and the back sliding patio doors behind the curtains there.
There's a dog in the photo there as well.
Yeah, that's Chance.
And then it looks like there might be a person on the couch.
Yep, and that would be Harley right there.
Okay, people's exhibit number 8.
Same thing, here's the kitchen. I said just a second ago, dishwasher and the back sliding doors once again.
People's exhibit number 9.
Yeah, so right behind us right now would be those back patio sliding doors. And here's the stairwell going down. This is the wall I referenced in the first picture. TV living room area. And this is the entryway into the laundry room. And this would be the master bedroom behind this wall.
So sort of around that corner there.
Yeah, you have to go around the corner and into the master bedroom.
And then people's exhibit number 10. What are we looking at there?
So yeah, going around that corner, we've come into the master bedroom now. Master bedroom doors behind us, and this would have been a window into the backyard and master bed right here.
And then sort of over to the left, what's to the left in that photo?
So
If you go sort of if we don't have a picture of it yet,
Right.
but where would that go?
So if I'm standing looking at this back door and I turn my body to the left, there'll be the bathroom, the master bathroom. And then through that master bathroom would have been the defendant's closet.
Okay. And then People's Exhibit number 11.
Once again, looking from that living room view, this is the garage entryway we discussed, and the laundry facilities right here. And then into that, through that door would be into the garage.
Okay. People's 12.
And that is the garage.
Whose car is parked there in that garage?
That was the car that belonged to Harley.
What kind of car is that?
It's a Volkswagen Jetta. I think it was a 2018 Volkswagen Jetta.
Looks like maybe somebody's a woodworker.
Somebody.
Who's that?
I try. I don't know if I can claim to be an actual woodworker, but I give it my best shot. So
that woodworking material there, various pieces of wood and table and all that kind of thing, that's your stuff.
yeah, pretty much this whole side of the garage was dedicated with parking bikes. But other than that, it was, just to my supplies and my woodworking stuff.
What kind of stuff would you build with wood?
Well, this you see right here, I actually I'm about 90% done, is a table for mom, and I surprised her with it the other day. One of my favorite things to make is like cutting boards and like epoxy boards and stuff like that, but that's kind of what I do.
So you mentioned making a table for, I think you said mom. Do you mean your mom?
Yeah, my mom sitting right over there. Yeah,
Okay. So you would make some furniture
yeah, so
and then also cutting boards?
cutting boards and stuff like that. Yeah.
I want to have you take a look in that binder again.
Okay.
Should be the next exhibit, number 34. Do you see it there?
I have 13 is next.
So flip all the way to
Flip to 34. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is that a photo of a table that you built?
Yes, sir.
Who'd you build that table for?
I built that for Gannon, so he'd have a place to put his, Legos and his, his little toys and stuff in his room.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of that table that you built?
Yes, sir.
You're on move for admission and permission to publish People's 34.
Mr. Tellini?
No objection.
Exhibit 34 will be admitted. Go ahead.
So People's 34 is now displayed on the two screens here. It's fairly obvious, but just point out the table that we're talking about that you built for Ganon.
Right here, it's red and blue one, and colors were specifically for Mario. Like I said, it's one of his favorite things, so I wanted him to enjoy that based on his Mario little thing.
And then there's some scrap wood in that photo just to the left there. Can you point that out?
Yeah, so a little piece of like OSB board, and then my circular saw here. There's more of that same OSB up there. I used that to build those in the laundry room. You saw that little shoe container, it was gray. Built it out of that wood.
So you used a term that I'm not familiar with. I'm not a woodworker. OSB, what does that mean?
OSB it's like plywood, different types of plywood. It's a generic term
Okay.
for it. So. Particle board is another word that's used.
Okay. And if you could pull that down the picture. And then I want to have you now flip back to People's 13 through 31.
Okay.
And then just flip through all of those and tell me when you're done.
13 through,
31.
thank you.
Stop at 31, you said?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Are those
whoops.
basically just more photos of the 6627 Mandan Drive address?
Majority of them, yes, sir.
Are they all fair and accurate representations of that house?
Yes, sir.
I move for admission of 13 through 31 and permission to publish.
Mr. Tellini?
Did he say Mr. Tweeny?
Couple, and I'm referring to kind of 19, 20,
I'm sorry.
and
Yeah.
21. I think there needs to be more foundation laid for those photos, but for the rest of them, I don't have.
Good catch. So those are coming later. So it's 13 through 18 and then 21 through 31. My apologies.
Okay, let's go there. 13 through 18 and 21 through 31. Do you have an objection?
I do not.
All right, those
Oh,
photos will be admitted. Go ahead.
And permission to publish those photos, Your Honor.
You may go ahead.
All right, so we've got 13 displayed on the screen there. Describe what we're looking at there.
So if you can see over here, this carpet, this is where we came in the front door, and I said there was the wall leading down the stairs, and this is the stairway to the basement.
People's number 14.
So, yeah, I forgot to mention the stairs kind of do a wraparound. So we came down the stairs and now we're looking down into the basement and we had a little computer area here. But yeah, that's the basement entryway.
And 15.
So coming down the stairs to the right, this is what you would have seen, the little, I call it the downstairs living room.
So TV, sofa, that kind of
My
thing.
bike, and then the dog's kennel was over here. And then, you know, mementos, you can see college degrees and pictures of the family and stuff.
Was it typical that you all would spend time as a family in this room?
Yeah, I mean, I watched a lot of movies with the kids down there, but we did upstairs as well. So,
Would the kids spend time on their own down there?
oh yeah, a lot. Because again, you can see his Nintendo Switch right here, as that was his pride and joy. And we also had a PlayStation, and they would watch movies, and so all the gaming and stuff typically took place downstairs.
Just to the right of that photo, was there a hallway that went back to that back bedroom?
Yeah,
It's
you
hard
can-
to see.
You can kind of see a little crease right here. That's the corner, and it goes into Harley's room and then her bathroom area. And there's another closet right there. But
And then People's Exhibit 16.
yeah, so this would have been the couch we just saw in the other picture, and then this is just the back corner. I guess it would have been the northwest corner of the basement. I don't know, but yeah.
And then you sort of started to point at it there, but there's a blackish square there in the center of that carpet.
Yes, sir.
Just backing up a little bit. In January of 2020, specifically January 25th and 26th, which would have been a Saturday and Sunday, were you at home on that weekend?
No, I actually, it's kind of hard to explain my duty schedule, but every other week I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that week I actually have to work day shift on a Friday and Saturday. And then I left town on Sunday. So I was at work all day Saturday, came home, the defendant and my mom was in town, and the defendant and I and my mom and the kids ate dinner. And then my mom was leaving that night, so I took her to the airport in Denver for her flight. And then I stayed in the airport. I slept across from the ticket counter on the floor there. And then because I had an early morning flight to go to Oklahoma for training for 2 weeks.
So when did you actually drive up to Denver? And I'm assuming you mean DIA.
Denver Airport, yeah, DIA. So, I mean, I get off, I don't think I got off early that evening. I usually get off at 1800 or at 6 p.m. And it was a 15-minute drive home or so. We ate dinner, and then no later than 8 o'clock, I would assume. I don't remember exactly what time mom's flight left DIA, but
So you drive mom up to the airport, and then you just stayed at the airport because you had a flight the next day?
I had an early morning flight to through Dallas, I think, to Lawton, Oklahoma. But yeah, I did. I just slept on my duffel bag or whatever right there. There's a little seating area right across from the American Airlines ticket counter at DIA, and I just laid down on the floor right there.
So when you left on Saturday evening, whatever time it was, who was left at the Mandan Drive residence?
The defendant, and then Harley and Lena and Gannon.
Any other adults there?
Not that I know of. No,
How old was Harley at that time?
she would have been, let's see, 5102. And that was, so she was 17,
How old was
approaching
Ga-
18.
How old was Gannon
11.
and Lena?
Lena was, her birthday's in January. So, sorry, I'm doing math here. So 8, she had just turned 8.
Okay. You're doing math better than I could if I
Right.
was sitting on the stand, so thank you. So when you left the house on that Saturday evening to drive mom and yourself up to the DIA, was that carpet like that when you left?
It was not, no, sir.
Did you talk to the defendant about that?
I believe
Well, first, did you talk to her about it?
I did talk to her. She said there was an accident and a candle spill.
Okay.
I don't know if it was, let me clarify, I don't remember if it was over a text or over a phone call, but there was a conversation about it at some
Okay.
point.
Do you remember when you learned about a candle spill and a burn or whatever?
I'm confident that it was that Sunday night, which would have been the 26th.
Okay.
Either that or the next morning in those
Okay.
text messages.
And is that what we're looking at there is sort of a cutout area of that carpet as a result of whatever burn happened?
Yeah, what I was told was, yeah, there was a spill here, but you can also see that she claimed the defendant claimed there's supposedly some candles spilled on the couch as well. You can see those little spots there. That's what she claimed that was.
Did she ever say who cut that square out like that?
When I got home, I think there was something over it. So I don't know if the defendant ever told me that she had cut anything out. I cannot remember specifically on that.
Okay. Let's move on to People's Exhibit 17. What are we looking at here?
So basically, you're kind of standing by the TV almost now, and then you're looking back to where we came down the stairs, and this would have been that entryway into Harley's area. Once again, the dog kennel, we referenced that in the computer area, and this is when I called it a closet. I forget how you referenced it, but the boiler room or whatever.
I called a storage room, but
Storage room, okay.
unfinished area where furnace and that kind of thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then where's Gannon's room in relation to that?
So you'd have this, behind this wall, there's a small little hallway. As soon as you get here, you take a right and it leads into his bedroom.
Okay. People's Exhibit 18? Is that just a closer up view of into that storage room?
Yeah, now we're walking towards the storage room here, and then you can see this little, gap here. That's how you get into Gannon's room.
People's 21? So, Judge, we'll have to turn the screen off for just a moment. Okay, we're ready.
Hold on. Okay. Oh, whoops.
So 21 is on the screen behind you now.
Okay.
What are we looking at there?
So we've taken probably 2 or 3 steps into Gannon's room now because we're kind of in the center. This was his bed. And as I mentioned before, you can see the remnants of when Lena lived here. Those are definitely not Gannon stickers, but his bed here, there's that table that I built for him for his toys. And then there would also be another bed over on this side of the room, as we're looking at it to the right. This was a storm well or whatever. Remember, we're in the basement, and I believe there was a ladder in this one going up to the backyard. His closet would have been over here, and then I think he had a little TV as soon as you walk in the room to the left.
Okay. Is that essentially what Gannon's room looked like when you got back from Oklahoma?
I don't remember if I walked down there immediately or not.
Jennifer loves horses.
I think I did, but I don't remember specifically, but that's about what it would have looked like.
Okay.
That was a common appearance of his room, so.
Was his bed always sort of backed up into that corner?
Yeah, his bed would have been typically pushed all the way up against this wall and this wall, not pulled away for any reason.
Does it appear there's a little gap there in the?
It's hard to tell in this picture because the covers are kind of ruffled up, but.
Okay. People's Exhibit 23. Do we need to pull it down? Can you just not do it? All right, yeah, be 22 first, but you can't just. So People's 22, what is that a picture of?
So now we're back in the master on the first floor, on the main floor, and we've walked into the master bathroom. You can see the shower right here with the tile and the glass door, and this would have been the defendant's closet, master closet, if you will.
So all the clothes in there and whatever other things were in there pretty much belong to the defendant?
Yeah, so as I referenced earlier, the coat closet, which is normally called as when you walk in, that's where I kept my clothes in her because the defendant had a closet full of clothes and there wasn't room for mine. So
Okay. And then People's 23?
Yeah, this would have been just taking another step in where you can see, just her clothes, the defendant's clothes hanging up, shoes on the top rack there.
People's 24.
Oh yeah, Hellcat.
What are we looking at?
That looks like, that would have been the defendant's closet, I believe, because those were her book bags. And yeah, you can see some of the same clothes we saw in the previous picture hanging up here. So yeah, that's the defendant's closet as well.
And her shoes there?
Yeah, her shoes, another rack of shoes.
And then People's 25?
That would have been, as soon as you walk in the closet to the right, the same closet.
So I want to ask you some questions before we jump on to the next couple of photos. When did you learn about Gannon having something happen to him? You mentioned hearing something from the defendant about the burn downstairs. Was there a point in time when you learned that he was missing?
Yes, I was in Oklahoma. We had our first day of class. Like I said, I was scheduled to be there 2 weeks. Just got out our first day of class. I went and ran a couple miles, whatever it was. And then I was already back in my hotel room preparing for the next day and whatever. And then we started the conversation back and forth about he's not home yet. We had specific times for them to be home. Typically it was the street lights. It's something I used to do as a kid. I had to be home by the street lights. So we just implemented that, and he hadn't come home in time. And it was abnormal, but it wasn't worrisome. So I don't know how much you want me to go into that.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you some follow-up questions
Okay.
about that. When you say that he hadn't come home yet, did you know that he hadn't come home, or is this what the defendant was telling you?
Yeah, based on the conversation that me and the defendant were having, of course, I was in Oklahoma, so I had no clue. I'm just relying on trusting her that he hadn't come back from his friend's house yet, which is where she said he had been.
And what day was that you heard this information?
This would have been the Monday, so I believe it was the 27th.
27th.
Yeah.
Do you know if he went to school on the 27th?
According to her, he did not.
Her being?
Excuse me, the defendant. According to the defendant, he did not because he was having stomach issues and he was sick, which in my mind at that time is like, why is he going to his friend's house if he's that sick? So it was a little confusing, but
Would it be typical if he was having digestive issues to stay home from school?
no, sir.
Okay. So that by itself was out of the ordinary.
Right.
And when did you find out that he was going to stay home from school?
I believe, without having timestamps, I believe it was that morning, and I think she sent me some photos
Okay.
saying, Gannon's home, here he is, or whatever.
Yep. And then when you found out from the defendant that he had potentially gone to a friend's house and hadn't come home, do you know what time that was?
I mean, I don't know specifically without looking when that conversation started, but it was already in the evening where I was when we started that conversation.
So you learn in the morning that Gannon doesn't go to school from the defendant
Mhm.
because of stomach issues. And then sometime in the evening, you learned that he had gone to a friend's house and had not come
Had
home.
not come home.
And that all comes from the defendant.
Yes, sir.
When did you get back to Colorado?
I came as soon as I can after I decided basically that there was something actually wrong. So the 27th, as soon as I decided he's missing, I got to come home. Not to get ahead, but I think the defendant had called 911. I don't know about when the police came to the house, but I know I also called them and said, hey, what's going on? My son's out there somewhere. And at that point, I called our travel people and said, hey, I need an emergency ticket home. And I left. I had a buddy drive me to Oklahoma City, and I left from Oklahoma City airport early the next morning.
So let's unpack that just a little bit.
Sure.
So to your memory, the defendant tells you that she called 911?
She did.
Was it that specifically, or was it an accumulation of things that made you worried and decide that you need to get back home and see what's going on?
Yeah. So, like I said, I didn't know how deep you wanted me to go at that point. I had also contacted numerous of Gannon's friends' parents in the neighborhood that I knew. He would typically frequent their house and play with their kids and stuff, and none of them had even seen him. So then it started to become an issue. There was also another claim about some new friend on the school bus and some other stuff surrounding that. I'm sure we'll get into. Do you want me to go into that?
Nope, not right now.
All right. there was that. And so I started asking the parents about, do you know this person's name, or do you know anything about another person? And so it started compounding, as you said, to become more worrisome.
So basically, you're accumulating information and growing more worried. Is that what you're describing?
Yes, sir.
And then when you said you called your travel people, do you mean you called the National Guard folks?
Well, we have like a central billing travel type agency that does all of our flights and stuff like that. So I just called them. I think it's called Sato. I don't remember exactly, but I called them. On my orders, it has the emergency number. So I just called that, say, hey, I got to go home. This is happening.
Okay.
I also called Landon and some of her family as well to try to notify them, hey, I'm going home. Something's wrong.
When did you actually then fly out of, I think you said Oklahoma City?
Yeah. So one of my battle buddies or whatever, one of my guys in my class took me up to Oklahoma City because that was the only flight they could find, or the soonest flight they could find. And early the next morning, I spent the night sitting once again, right across from the ticket counter at Oklahoma City. I don't remember the flight time.
So when you say the next morning, is that January 28th?
Tuesday, January 28th. Yes, sir.
Did you get any sleep that night?
No, I just sat there and whatever.
Did you fly back to DIA or did you fly to Colorado Springs?
I think I don't remember exactly. I knew I left Oklahoma City, but I'm pretty sure I got back to, well, I know I got back to Colorado Springs. All the different legs, I don't remember, to be
Okay.
honest, but I know I came into Colorado Springs.
So do you remember being picked up from Colorado Springs Airport?
Yes, sir.
Who picked you up?
The defendant.
So let's talk about that just a little bit. Does she have her own vehicle at that time?
I don't know what she drove to the airport based on my,
Listen to the question. Did she have her own vehicle?
we went and got a rental, well, she went upstairs and got a rental car.
Did she have her own vehicle that you all owned that she would typically drive? Bad questions on my part. Does she have a vehicle that she would typically drive
Oh, does she have one?
at that time?
Yes, she did. It was a Volkswagen T1,
Okay. What color was it?
black.
Okay. What did she actually pick you up in at the airport?
Like I said already, she went upstairs. I was down at the luggage carrier. She went upstairs to get a rental vehicle.
Okay. Did that seem odd to you?
Absolutely.
At some point, were you in contact with Landon with this news of Gannon being missing?
Absolutely. And 'cause once I decided there was an issue, and a legitimate issue, I think I called her first, couldn't get a hold of her, and then I started calling her daddy and other family members to try to get a hold of her. But I did talk to her Monday on the 27th that evening while still in at Fort Sill. And then I don't remember exactly along the way, but she said, I'll be there. And she started getting her travel arrangements set to get there. So
Did she actually then come out to Colorado?
she did.
Where did she stay when she came to Colorado?
Initially, I don't remember how many nights. I think she stayed at my house for a night or two. I don't remember specifics. Majority of the time, she got a hotel in town. It wasn't long that we all stayed in the house because we had to leave. So
When she got to town, and I think you said, did she come straight to your house?
I saw her for the first time at the sheriff's office, Paso County Sheriff's Office downtown.
Okay. Well, was she staying somewhere in Colorado? Did she go to your house?
So she, from my recollection, she landed, came straight to the sheriff's office. I don't know if she did anything in between, but I saw her at the sheriff's office. We left there, I think, in my truck and went home to my residence, 6627 Manhattan
Okay.
Drive.
Did the fact that Landon was going to be staying in your house at 6627 cause tension between you and the defendant?
From her perspective, I can't speak for her perspective. I didn't see their need for tension because there's a little boy missing and we got to fight together at that point.
Okay. So, but was there tension between the two of you over that decision to allow Landon to be at the house?
I believe it created some tension in her mind.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't have that tension. No, sir. I'm just gonna speak to
Right.
that.
A disagreement though. Did she get mad at you for allowing Landon to be?
Yeah,
at
we
the house?
disagreed on that note. Yes.
Okay. At some point, then, did that cause the defendant to actually move out of the Mandan Drive house? And I'm not asking you for specific days, just a yes or no.
I believe that's what she said caused her, the defendant caused her to move out. Yes.
I'm going to object at this point. It's unclear if he's just speculating as to what was going on in the defendant's mind, or if this was actually verbalized to him. If it was verbalized to him, I think he can testify. If he's just speculating as to what she was thinking, I think it's inappropriate.
I agree. I don't think that he can testify as to what she was thinking at the time. He can testify as to what she did. He can testify as to what she said.
And that's what I'm trying to get across here. And I'm actually asking for a physical thing. Did she physically go to the house and take things out of the house and move out?
She did, absolutely.
Roughly when did that occur?
Within the first week,
Okay.
I don't remember exact dates. I'm sure we'll get to that.
Okay. And so if we can put up People's Exhibit 26.
'26 hasn't been admitted yet.
I move for admission of 21 through
Oh, you're right.
31.
That's right. Yep, I'm sorry. Whoops. Go ahead.
All right. What is
He did it
depicted in
again.
People's 26?
This would have been the defendant's closet in the master bedroom, bathroom area. Looks like it's been emptied out.
Oh, whoops.
Okay. So did you move anything out of that closet?
No, sir, I did not.
Who did?
The defendant?
There's still some things that were left behind, it looks like.
Yes, sir, it appears so.
Are those some of the defendant's items as well? It may be hard to tell,
It's
but
hard to tell. I mean, that, you want me to be specific here? I mean, some of that stuff is my items, but
so I'm asking more about the things hanging. It looks like there's a belt or something and then some sort of a jacket maybe.
this belt looks like it would have been mine. Actually, I remember it because I had that little crease in it. And I cannot tell what jacket that is, to be specific about it.
Okay. And then People's Exhibit 27. Is this another view of that same closet?
Yes, so that would have been my sweater. I don't know whose sweatshirt that is. And those are linens from our bedroom.
Linens from your bedroom?
Yeah, up here in the top corner from our bed.
Okay. And then, so looks like you said the defendant came in there and moved all those things out.
Yes, sir.
You didn't help her at all?
No, sir, there were other people helping her.
Okay. And then I want to jump now to People's Exhibit 28. What is this?
So this was Harley's room, and the door to Harley's room would have been over in this area, and then that's a door into her closet.
Okay. And then People's 29.
And that's walking into her closet, it looks like.
Her being Harley.
Harley, yes, I'm sorry.
So the clothes and the shoes and whatnot, is that all Harley's
Those are
belongings?
Harley's shoes, yes, sir.
And then when the defendant moved out, the week of that 27th, did Harley also move out?
Harley did, yes, sir.
Let's move on to People's Exhibit 30. Is that Harley's clothes hanging in that closet?
Yes, sir.
And People's 31. Is that the way the closet looked after Harley and Letecia moved out later the week of the 27th?
Yes, sir.
You can take that down now, Judge. Thank you. I want to go through and have you describe for us how you all would communicate. Did each person basically in the family, and when I say each person, I mean you, the defendant, Harley, have cell phones
All three of us did, yes, sir.
with separate phone numbers?
Separate phone numbers, yes, sir.
And then was there a fourth phone number that was assigned to Gannon and Lena?
Yes, sir, it was like the kid's phone, yes, sir.
What was your phone number back then?
My phone number, 843-478-6714.
Who was the provider for that phone number?
I was.
8675309.
I'm sorry, the cell phone provider.
Oh, AT&T,
And then what about Gannon's or the kid's phone?
843, I remember it was 6724 because it was just one digit off of my end. I don't remember the middle three.
Okay. So 843 area code.
Mhm.
You have to say yes or no.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. And then the last four, 6724.
6724,
Okay. Who was the cell phone provider for that phone?
AT&T.
And then let's talk about Harley. Do you remember her phone number at that time?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. Do you know who the cell phone provider
It was
was?
AT&T.
AT&T.
Also 843 area code for sure.
What is 843 area code?
That's coastal South Carolina at the time.
And then what about the defendant? Did she also have a cell phone?
She did.
Who was the cell phone provider for that phone?
AT&T.
Do you know her phone number?
Yeah, yes, sir. 843-655-7460.
During the course of the investigation, did law enforcement ask you for access to the phone associated with the kids or Gannon's phone?
Yes, sir.
We'll come back to that. We've already talked a little bit about vehicles. What was your vehicle?
I had I believe it was 2016, but Nissan Frontier. It was red, had a 6-inch lift on it, some big mud tires.
Was it a Titan?
No, it was a Frontier.
Frontier?
Nissan
Okay.
Frontier.
And you said what year was it?
I believe 2016, either 2015 or
Does this
2016.
dude want to
Okay.
buy it or something?
Who typically drove that vehicle?
Typically, I did.
Anybody else drive it?
The defendant from time to time.
Did she like driving it?
I don't remember ever enjoying driving it.
Okay. And then what about Harley? We saw a picture of it, but that was a white VW Jetta, I think you said.
Yes, sir. 2018, I believe.
And then what about the defendant?
She had, I think it was 2019, but a Tiguan, a black Tiguan with black rims and kind of blacked out tint on her windows.
Did you all own that vehicle?
No, that was a lease.
So now I want to jump back to what we were talking about earlier when she picked you up at the airport. Did she give you a reason? Did she say why she wanted to drive a rental vehicle as opposed to her normal vehicle?
Yeah, her reasoning was we would be doing a lot of searching and driving around looking for Gannon, and due to her vehicle being a lease, she didn't want to go over the mileage on whatever those requirements or allotments were.
What kind of vehicle did she rent?
A little small. I don't remember. I think maybe a Kia. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a small little sedan.
What color was it?
I believe silver,
Was it white maybe?
maybe white.
You don't have a good memory of that?
I don't, because we just parked it in the driveway and drove my truck around. So, which made totally no sense.
So let's talk about that. Did you actually own the pickup at that time?
I did.
Not a lease issue.
No, I was paying the note off, but I mean, I owned it. It was my
Okay.
name.
Why was it strange to you, the way you said this earlier, that there was a rented vehicle as opposed to her normal Tiguan vehicle that she was picking you up in?
Once again, and I know I've made this statement already about something else, but in these moments when it's an emergency, things like miles on your car don't matter. It doesn't matter what car we drive if we're going searching. So it just, and in the moment, I'm just like, whatever, just do what you want. But yeah, it didn't make any sense.
Did she tell you where the Tiguan was?
She did. She said it was, so, because I asked, it brings back memory. I asked, how did you get to the airport if your car's not here? Well, I parked it at French Elementary School, which is where she was employed. And one of my coworkers brought me, or former whatever it was, one of my coworkers brought me to the airport and dropped me off.
So just so we're clear, you asked her about that and she told you that one of her coworkers drove her to the airport and dropped her off.
Absolutely.
Is French Elementary School close to the Mandan Drive address?
I mean, it's on the south end of town, but I mean, it's a couple miles away.
Okay. Did you ever drive over to French Elementary School to look for that vehicle?
I did.
Did you find it there?
I did not.
Did you find that odd?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Gannon's relationship with the defendant. How would you describe that relationship?
Trusting. I'm comfortable saying I think he had love in his heart for her. I don't think he was afraid of her, or any fear for her. One of the things about Gannon that is special, and I think it's special about a lot of young boys, he absolutely loved his mom. And he had some of that same love for Tisha too.
So he was a mama's boy.
He was, absolutely.
He just said her name for the first time. I haven't heard him say Letecia until he said that.
How was, I guess, who would discipline the kids? And when I say the kids, I'm talking about the little ones. So Lena and Gannon.
Both of us, both myself and the defendant.
I want to get into now your relationship with the defendant. We talked about how you met her. How would you describe the relationship? Was it a loving relationship? What was it?
At what point?
Well, let's start at the beginning.
I think loving is a good example. It was fun. As you brought up, I was coming off of a divorce, so yeah, it was fresh. It was new. I had a good time. I didn't have custody of the kids at that point, so we were a little bit more free, and things we could do.
How old were Gannon and Lena when you met the defendant?
When I met her,
Yep.
2 and 5, I believe. I think that's right.
When did you first move in together?
So my
I'm
officer
sorry.
school took me through August. I had to go to a 2-week phase in Alabama. Landon and I sold the house, and it was I think I signed the papers and it sold while I was gone, but right in that same time frame, late July, early August, when I got back is when I might have moved my stuff into where we started renting a house, but I moved in late August.
Of what
Something
year?
like that, 2014.
When did you first meet Harley?
Earlier in 2014, maybe March. I remember, well, let me back up. I had exposure to her at the softball games and stuff, but I never really, had a conversation with her. But when I first met her, I actually remember helping her doing her homework the first time I met her. She was doing some vocabulary. I don't know why that stands out, but yeah, I was at Tisha's apartment in spring of 2014.
When were you
Sorry.
officially commissioned in the
Oops.
National Guard?
I took my commission June 9th, 2016.
Did you change your duty assignment roughly around that same time?
Yeah, I was in National Guards, as you mentioned, is mostly reserve. So before I commissioned, I was enlisted, made it up to Sergeant First Class, E7. And in active guard status, I had to resign my full-time in order to take my commission. And then I was in the reserve status for about 8 months, 9 months before I went to Alaska.
Okay, so what I'm asking is,
Agree.
did you have to change where
Is
you
that
were living and where you were assigned
Agree.
with the National Guard after you took your commission?
Not immediately.
Did you at some point move to Columbia, South Carolina?
I didn't move there. As soon as I commissioned, like I said, it's kind of hard to explain. National Guard's a little different. I resigned my full-time status, but you can get on temporary orders. And so I was on temporary orders in Columbia for a couple months. But I was close enough where I could commute, half the time or whatever.
Okay.
But I just stayed at the Armory in Columbia, South Carolina.
So that's when you say you stayed there, that's where you were working.
I worked there, and then I got a cot and stayed in an extra room down the hall or whatever it was.
And then the house that you mentioned earlier in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, did you and the defendant buy that house?
Right around that same time, yes, sir.
Do you remember going to Oklahoma roughly around that same time as well?
I did. I wasn't slated to go until January, and this trip to Oklahoma would have been for 6 months, and this was for my basic officer course, not to be confused with the 2 weeks in 2020.
Right.
So I went there. I was slated to go in January, but somebody dropped out, so I was able to go, I think, the end of July, and it took me through December, just shy of 6 months.
Did you take either Gannon and Lena with you to Oklahoma for this 6-month period?
I did not. At that point, their mother still had majority custody, so, but they did come and visit. There was a few holidays or whatever, and I came home a couple of times to visit during that time period.
What about the defendant? Did she ever come to Oklahoma to
The
visit?
defendant did, as well as Harley.
Did she ever move to Oklahoma during that 6-month period with you?
She never moved. I don't remember her staying at maximum a week. I don't even think she stayed that long at any point.
Was it that year, 2016, when you learned of the job up in Alaska?
I did. While I was in Oklahoma, I learned of that.
Was that something that interested you?
Absolutely.
Did you apply to that position?
Absolutely.
Is inappropriate.
Agreed.
When you finished that training in Oklahoma in 2016, where did you go after finishing that training?
I came home, I say home, but came to the house that the defendant and I owned in Myrtle Beach.
Okay. When did you actually get transferred up to Alaska? If you can tell us.
Yeah, so I mean, I spoke to this earlier. I came here for schooling. I got here, I think, April 1st, did 2 months here, and then I took the trip with the kids up to Alaska. So I think June 9th or something like that, I got up there. But I was on orders in the Alaska Guard on my way here, and then just did my training, so.
You said June. What year are we talking about?
2017, once again, yeah.
What was the,
Thank you, Sean.
I'm a Navy guy, so I don't understand National Guard.
Okay.
Are they bases, forts? What are they called?
Most of the time, your typical National Guard duty is going to be at an armory, like a local reserve center or something. They're all over Colorado Springs. This one is a little different because it was an active Guard unit, which is kind of rare in the Guard. But it was at Fort Greely, Alaska. I was stationed and lived on base.
So how long were you stationed up at Fort Greely?
Just shy of 2 years. Like as I mentioned, I got hired on in March. Went to my school here, and then that was 2017, and then February 2019, I was transferred here.
Oh my God.
Was
thank you
it
so much,
roughly
Holly.
around that time that you actually filed for custody of Gannon and Lena?
No, that was, I think I actually filed for custody before I left to Alaska. So is that the time period you're talking about?
Yeah, so when did you file for custody of Gannon and Lena?
So like February or March of 2017, I don't remember specific dates, but it was before I was leaving, yes, sir.
Do you remember a specific incident occurring prior to you leaving for training where you and the defendant got into an argument
Yes,
in
sir.
2017?
In 20, don't remember. Is there more you can give me? on
Well,
a
I
specific-
can't ask you leading questions, so I
Okay.
got to ask an open-ended question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so I think we did get into an argument, a verbal argument about me taking the job in Alaska. That was a point of tension for sure.
Did she tell you whether she was supportive of you taking that job in Alaska or not?
I don't remember specifically if she said supportive, but all indications were no.
Was that the sort of the source of the fight?
I would say yes. That was the source of many verbal disagreements and arguments in that time period.
Were you all living together at that particular time?
Yes,
When this,
sir.
when this fight occurred?
Yes, sir, in the house in Myrtle Beach.
Okay. Did the defendant take specific action regarding your belongings in the house?
Yeah, yes, sir, the day I was supposed to leave to come to Colorado for training, which would have been late March. I don't remember the specific date. Yeah, she threw all my stuff in the front yard and whatever, just said, I'm done with you kind of thing.
Said that, so you said, she said, I'm done with you kind of thing?
And I'm not quoting directly, but that's the theme of it. I'm done. Take your stuff and go and whatever.
Obviously the relationship didn't end then, is that right?
No, I think it was actually about a week or 8 or 9 days before we talked again. Not a lot of communication in those. I didn't talk to her the whole trip here, and then it was a couple of days after I got here, I think. So yeah, it was tough times.
You mentioned earlier that the defendant actually did come up to Alaska.
Yes, sir.
When did that occur?
Various times. I don't know. I don't remember specifically when she first showed up. Had already been there for a while. But she did come and then stayed for a week or 2 or 3 weeks here, a month there. I mean, she never moved there. I never felt like she moved there, I should say.
Well, and I'm probably just asking a bad question, but was there a period of time where it seemed as if there was a move where she actually brought Harley with her to Alaska?
Yes, there was a period of time, and this would have been that first summer, because what she told me was that she was looking for a job at the school and that she had enrolled Harley at the school in Delta Junction is the town, but that she was enrolled there. And then that's where we're at.
Delta Junction, Alaska.
Yeah, which is where Fort Greely, the base is located, is Delta Junction.
So did the defendant and Harley actually come to Alaska during that time frame?
They did. Those have been sometime June or July. I don't remember how long they stayed, like I said, but
Did the defendant ever tell you, did you say something, Judge?
No.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Did the defendant ever tell you whether she enjoyed being in Alaska?
she actually told me the opposite quite a bit, that she hated it there, that we should give it back to Russia. So
Give Alaska back
yeah,
to Russia?
just give it to them
Yeah.
because it's so bad up there.
What?
Would the defendant use manipulation on you in your relationship?
Absolutely.
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled.
Go ahead, you can answer.
Absolutely.
In this time period that we're talking about where you were in Alaska, and she's telling you that she hated it, did she manipulate that situation to try to get you to leave that duty station?
Yes, sir. At the end, she did.
When you say the end, what do you mean by the end?
By the end, that's what her manipulating a situation is what led me to leave Alaska.
When did the manipulation in that regard change or cause you to start to leave Alaska?
That specific incident or set of incidents would have been in the fall of 2018.
What was the nature of that manipulation?
Objection 404B.
Counsel approach, please.
Counsel approach, please. Hey, just to let you guys know, I'm back here in the back room, back office, hooking you guys up with some cool merch. I am going to combine. I'm getting rid of that stupid Teespring store eventually, soon as I can get all my designs over here. And I'm going to have one merch store, so for both channels. So I'm putting J is for Justice shiz up as we speak as well. And I'm also playing with my stream. So if you see things moving around, looking weird for a second, don't fret. It's just me. And then also, if you would like to become a member, I want to thank again Miss Holly, who gifted 5 memberships. So congratulations to all of the new members. Welcome to the lounge. Oh, I'm playing with my screen. So I don't know what they're talking about. What do you think they're talking about? But yeah, I'm just messing and getting this all how I want it, I guess. I know it. You know, I'm so glad that there's not cameras in Valo because this would be really hard. How do you choose? We would have to do like side by side and be like, okay, we'll watch this one for an hour and then we'll watch this one for an hour. A Golden Girls drop. Yeah, what the hell? Tisha's like, oh, she said they could just give Alaska back to Russia. She's such a bitch. She truly is. And I agree. It would be absolutely impossible. So I don't know what we would do. I want some donuts.
For donuts?
I feel like it's still morning. And I still haven't gotten out of my chair because I'm sitting here fooling around. I wish we could see the I wish we could see the evidence too. Yesterday we could see
All right,
the
ladies
screen.
and gentlemen, we're going
Okay,
to
here
take
we are.
a
We're
break until about 10:40. Again, do not discuss the case among yourselves. Do not discuss the case with anyone else. Do not do your own investigation about any aspect of this case.
Yay,
And
Michael
if we can have everyone
Miller.
back in the jury room ready to go at 10:40, we should be able to start on time at that point. All right, for the jury, please.
Sure.
All right, they're taking a 15-minuter, I think he said. And there's Tisha. She stood up. Look at her. She thinks he's looking at her like he still like her in her punani.
Wife me once they get that good punani.
Welcome, Michael Miller. That's awesome. Look at you, Michael. You're all spoiled and stuff. You come to the 411 with Jay and you get all spoiled. Look at the judge. I don't like that view.
Thank you. You may all be seated. Record should reflect the jury has left the courtroom.
All right,
We were
let's see
having
what
a
happens.
discussion at the bench regarding the permissible areas to go into. And it seems to me, Mr. Allen, that what you can do is, I think it's probably safer just to use some leading questions, talk with your witness as well. But I do think that he can talk, as I understand it, what the evidence is going to be, or the offered evidence is going to be, is that Ms. Stauch made a claim regarding sexual harassment
That's right.
against some other people in his unit that may have made it uncomfortable for Mr. Stauch to remain in that unit, and apparently that's why he decided to change duty station. We're not going to get into what the substance of those allegations were. Mr. Stauch, you would be prohibited from saying or testifying whether or not you believed those allegations, whether or not you thought she was making them up, those kinds of things. You can say that she made them, and you can say that you can testify about how that made you feel and why you wanted to move, but you cannot testify about whether or not you thought they were true unless she told you something different. Okay? All right.
Well, Judge, I think it's as I was saying at the bench, it's a form of manipulation to get that to happen. And so I do think it would be proper for him to say whether it was an attempt by the defendant to manipulate him being assigned to that duty station,
He can go ahead.
leading to him then changing duty stations to Colorado.
He can testify that he thought
Oh
she
my
was
God, I
manipulating
can't.
him. But he cannot testify that that's what she thought.
There you go.
Because in this case, I do think that there's some issue about whether or not the defendant may have manipulated certain events, or whether or not the defendant may have manipulated certain conduct at some point in time. And so I do think that that is relevant. I think it's admissible. I think it goes to some of the heart of the issue of the evidence in this case. So I think that he can testify as to whether or not he thought he was being manipulated, and leave it at that. I don't think you can go any further than
Wife me
that.
once they get that good
Mr. Taney.
punani.
Yeah, and so I've got a couple different objectives
Go ahead.
here. I mean, one, basically what we're talking about, at least it sounds to me, and I'm making the record, that we're talking about propensity evidence. She manipulated him in Alaska, therefore when she was doing this other stuff in January of 2020, February of 2020, must have been manipulation as well. That is propensity. Further, there has been no 404B notice filed by the district attorney of the prior bad acts. I'm unaware of any case that I've come across that does away with Rule 404B just because we raised the issue of not guilty by reason of insanity. Obviously, we have some different experts that are going to come on that have been provided different evidence. Some of that may be described as 404B. And so that influenced that expert's decision. I think it would be relevant and admissible through that expert. I just don't think it's admissible through this witness we have here. Because whether or not he felt manipulated or not has no real bearing on what was going on in 2020, unless we're talking about propensity, or unless we're talking about other motive, other types of stuff that would need to be endorsed under 404B.
Mr. Allen?
Judge, they have put the defendant's mental condition into relevance by claiming NGRI. This witness specifically spent a lot of time with this defendant over many years. And case law is clear that he can comment on whether she was sane or not, and if she was
Look at the
having
guy in the
mental
chair
mental
rocking.
health issues, which I do intend to get into. There is evidence, as we know from preliminary hearing, that the defendant attempted to manipulate this investigation, and we're going to have evidence from different people on that point as well. And that's sort of the track record of this particular defendant. That's not a bad act. That's mental condition evidence that they have put in play by claiming NGRI.
I tend to agree with the prosecution here. I've
You're
read
looking at a room full of people who
I've
care
read
about
all
Letecia.
of the psychological examinations, the
Letecia.
competency and the sanity examinations. I'm also familiar with the facts that are involved in this case. I don't think it's necessarily propensity, but I also think that it would be appropriate to ask any of the experts that are coming whether or not conduct by the defendant in I think this was fall of 2018, would be an example of manipulation by the defendant. And if this testimony is not permitted at this point in time, or this evidence is not admitted at this point in time, there wouldn't be a basis by which to ask the expert that question when they take the stand.
We see you,
So
teabag.
I understand that you disagree, but I think that I do think that's appropriate. I think it is more of intrinsic rather than extrinsic evidence. So I am going to allow it. But again, Mr. Stauch will not be permitted to say whether or not he believed that those allegations were false or not. And he can testify as to what happened, how he reacted to it. And we're dealing with a relationship between the people. It has a lot to do with his mental state, Mr. Stauch's mental state at the time that the investigation
so
was going
mature
on
over
based
here.
on his history with the defendant. It also has something to do with the way that the defendant may have acted at the time all of this happened based on her history
This is what
with
she
him.
gets for doing
So,
that interview with her back to the
I'm going
camera.
to allow it, and you can do it through leading questions. All right. All right, with that, we will take our break. And so if Ms. Stauch needs a break, we need to do that now. Oh, all right. Thank you, Mr. Cook. All right, court will be in recess. Thank you. Mr. Stauch, you may want to talk with Mr. Allen about what the parameters are.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ew, she's itching her nasty, dirty scalp. You are oh, man.
Can you
Mess.
use the restroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you guys see that? Blit.
Did I ask them to do that?
All right, let's get rid of all the Tisha heads. That was funny. She wants to hide. She can run, but the bitch can't hide. Oh, here's a good screenshot of her getting cuffed. Bam. Ha ha. You can't go to the bathroom
That's just, I was trying to think of any red
without cuffs.
off my head.
Okay, I think we've gotten rid of all of her ugly heads. What is she smiling about with her ugly, sunken in face? Oh, it was just a joke. It was, we're looking at a room full of people who give a shit about Letecia, and it was Letecia. It was a
I'll
joke.
get the finest bottled water they have.
Oh, did he say vodka? I heard vodka. Put some vodka in that shiz. All right, let me show you guys the screenshots I got while we take a break from court. They're so blurry because I'm zoomed in. But look, she's got like that Manson look going on. Evil. But now you guys can take a chance and click that link and go check out the merch. Tell me what you think so far. Tell me if you like the mug with J is for Justice on the other side and the Space Nerd saying on the other. It doesn't look like she has teeth. She's like, her mouth is all like, good morning, Auntie Cheryl. Oh my God, who's laughing? That is not me, yo. The judge is not even at his thing, is he? Did you guys hear someone laugh? Look at her face. Ew. Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof. Mm-mm-mm. She is one nasty looking thing. Hey, Crazy Acres. Hope your day's going fast. It's already 12:32 Eastern Time. Do I have a sound clip of D. Brooke saying your YouTube name? I don't, but you know what? We'd have to go back to, that would be really cool. I'll have to go into one of the old streams. For the record, Your Honor, that's awesome. Let me make a note of that. Or if you guys want to do it, all you got to do is screen record it on your phone, and then you can put it in Discord if you want. But I'll make a note. FTRYH. Oh, I know. Look at her scratching. Like, bitch, get some jail soap and wash your hair. I know. Isn't that gross?
Jack, what time did you tell us to be back? Okay.
There's my screen grabs. The one of her itching, though. Nasty. Melissa B. You guys were 56% in our member goal for the week, for the weekly trial goal. And then we are 12 and a little over 12% on our super chat goal. So thank you so much for your support. Every dollar makes a difference, and it really does. And I appreciate it. It helps me be able to stay and do what I'm doing for you guys. And I love doing it. All right, so that's my screen grabs for you guys. That's what I got for you. Let's see what's going on in Newsland, shall we? What is going on with Donald Trump? This
Thought I had this earlier.
let's
This
see,
is
we've got
Ganon
some
from earlier.
Okay.
live coverage. He's set to be arraigned at 2:15 Eastern Time. I bet it's a freaking zoo. We've got to get some live coverage of that and tune in. All right, I got to get her itchy ass off the screen. That is the only time I will be showing her photos like that, because now I feel sick to my stomach. Oh, so when Al got on the stand, you guys, the way he was so tore up, oh my God, it killed me. I'll keep this one because we'll play peekaboo with her freaking crazy ass. We're gonna play peekaboo down here. She's gonna pop up every now and then. She's gonna be like peekaboo. But when he first got on the stand and he could barely even speak, oh my God, I thought, oh shit, this is gonna be bad. And then he calmed down, and then they kind of switched. They weren't talking so much about Gavin, but the very first picture, I think, was Gavin when he was born. And you guys, how crazy that he only weighed a little over a pound. So they must have thought, he may not even live. And here he lived you know, just to have that happen. I know, and I want to see the evidence screen too. It sucks that they changed the angle. Yesterday we could see it. It was just benign stuff, but we did see yesterday, if you weren't here, they did show the bottoms of the bottoms of Gannon's shoes that had blood on them. I know we all need a shower and a like wire scrub brush after looking at her. They got married in 2020, but I can't remember how many years he said they were together. Do you guys remember? Thank you, Shell, for your super chat. I just saw that 26 minutes ago.
Roberta.
I just replayed it. You still get your little dose of Roberta, I guess. Your daughter was 4 weeks early and still 6 pounds. I know, he was only 1 pound. My kids were, excuse me. I had 2 boys and then a girl. My first boy was 8 pounds, 12 ounces. My second boy was 8 pounds, 10 ounces. And my girl, my third one, was 8 pounds, 8 ounces. No joke. They were all 2 ounces apart, with the only difference between the 2 younger ones and the oldest one being that they were like, the 2 younger ones were like 21 inches long. My firstborn was 8 pounds, 12 ounces and 19 and a half inches long. He was literally like a basketball. As a matter of fact, his uncle nicknamed him Basketball Head when he was his little baby. So, yeah. Big babies. I can't imagine a 1 pounder. He said he couldn't hold them for like how many months? 4? All right, let's see what's going on with Trump. And, you know, whether you're political or not political, this is definitely something that everyone needs to keep tabs on and see, because we're watching history in the making. Never before have we had a president be indicted. Never. So there's no way to know how this is going to go down because no one can possibly know. Nobody knows. But we're going to tune in. Every media station is live. I'm going to see who has the best angle.
Donald Trump, I love you, baby.
I don't care if we had an affair. Dried up Cheeto.
I'm out here at Trump Tower.
I can't with these people. I wonder if the judge is tuning into this. Okay, that one's a live look at Trump Tower and the DA office, but that's just Trump Tower. I want to get you guys the best one. Here we go. ABC 7 Action News. But this is history in the making. Like, this hasn't been done before. He will be in front of a judge at 2:15. I'm assuming there's no cameras allowed in the courtroom. I know he was fighting that. So, I don't know. They're coming back into the courtroom, though. I will leave this muted and pulled up so we can just keep an eye on things. Because this is breaking news, you know. So I'll put it... Look at her laughing and carrying on, this bitch. This bitch has got nerve.
I'm a young man, but what I
7'9" and your girl was 8'9".
Way to go, boss.
Look at her. She's itching again. She's making me itch. Jilly Tots, thanks for becoming a member. I missed that one. Welcome, Jilly Tots, to the lounge. Michael, are you liking the lounge so far? Are you comfortable? Comfortable from Kentucky? Whereabouts in Kentucky?
Are we gonna?
Lawrence, y'all?
Mr. Allen.
It was 15 minutes, Lace.
Where's Mr. Allen?
Where's Mr.
Oh,
Another
he's in the
summer.
bathroom.
Where's Mr. Allen? Oh, he's in the bathroom. Dude, he just told the whole
I'll get
fucking
him.
country, the whole world, that poor Mr. Allen's
Yes.
still taking
No,
a
no,
shit.
not again. I'll just remind you that you're still under oath.
Okay.
So,
They said
Are we good
Mr.
to go?
Allen's
Yes.
taking a shit.
okay, so
Tough
you've
tiff.
had your time with.
Welcome to the lounge.
All right. Okay, let's go ahead and bring the jury in.
Okay, we good? Are we good?
You doing okay,
Oh.
Beth?
You okay?
Judge, one thing, apparently, I'm not sure if the mics are actually,
Okay.
yeah, this is working. I just need to
So,
hold it closer.
That one is.
Yeah. And is that one turned on?
They need a
also?
lapel mic if they're going to be walking around.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I know, the
ones at
judge.
council
Oh, he's
table remain
pooping.
off For the reasons that we discussed.
Look at her. She
long
looks like
ago.
a...
Okay.
But the lectern is on, witness is on. I'm sorry. Whoops.
How embarrassing. Now, Mr. Allen's got to walk in and everybody knows he's been pooping. Is that Mr. Allen? I hope he washed his hands. Look how cute Potato is in her tinfoil hat.
All rise for the jury, please.
All rise. Get your hand out of your shirt, you nasty beast. What is she doing? God. Oh my God. Are they still waiting for Mr. Allen? Oh my God. How
Thank you.
embarrassing.
May all be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. When we took our break, we were in the midst of the examination of Mr. Stauch. That's where we will resume. Mr. Stauch, I remind you, sir, that you're still under oath. Mr. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. So Al, we were just getting into whether the defendant manipulated your assignment to Alaska. Did she, well, let me ask you this. There was a point in time where she raised sexual harassment claims that caused tension for you and your command in Alaska. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did that involve a Corporal Jenkins and a Lieutenant Colonel Ortega?
Captain Jenkins and yes. Lieutenant
Captain
Colonel.
Jenkins.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, I don't know these National Guard ranks.
It's Army.
Army?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Army.
Again, I don't know that either.
Maybe you could have learned for the trial. I don't know. Just a thought.
I had asked you before whether she was happy being assigned, having you all living up in Alaska, and I think you said no.
Absolutely not. Yes.
Did this claim of sexual harassment, not asking you whether it was true or not, but did that lead to you eventually leaving Alaska and coming to Colorado?
Yes, sir. It did.
Were there two specific things that you witnessed that were sort of at the heart of these sexual harassment claims?
Yes, sir.
Did one of those involve Captain Jenkins?
Yes, sir.
Was that a time when you were at some establishment and there was some drinking involved?
Yeah, me and the defendant showed up for dinner and the other person was already there and had been drinking. Yes, sir.
The other person being Captain
Captain
Jenkins?
Jenkins, yes, sir.
Was
Wait,
that one
who's
of the
Captain
issues
Jenkins?
that the defendant raised as the basis for sexual harassment?
That situation, yes, sir. A comment he had made.
Okay. And we're not
Shell, what are
calling
you
Captain
talking
Jenkins,
about?
so we don't need to get into what he said,
Yes, sir.
okay? And then as it relates to Colonel Ortega, did you witness a specific event that was an interaction between Lieutenant Colonel Ortega and the defendant?
Yes, sir.
What was that specific thing?
Let me describe the event.
Yes, that
So
you witnessed.
I was the S1, which is the personnel officer for the battalion. Lieutenant Colonel Ortega was the battalion commander. I was still in the office. The defendant was coming to pick me up because we only had one vehicle in Alaska. And she was coming from the house to pick me up. And when I came out of the building, he was leaning over into the truck, talking to her. I don't know what they were talking about or anything. And then as soon as he saw me, he left, didn't stop and, communicate with me, he just left and walked away. And that was it.
Okay. And so did the defendant specifically use that incident as another part of the allegation of sexual harassment?
Yes, sir.
Did she file a formal complaint with your command?
There was I don't know, I don't think it was with the command. I think it went through the state. So
Okay.
the Alaska National Guard. I don't know the specifics of it. My only involvement was to basically say what I just said.
Okay. So what I'm asking you is, when I say command, again, I'm
Okay.
not informed on National Guard. Did she inform the National Guard of this complaint of sexual harassment?
Yes, sir.
And you knew that?
Yes, sir.
Did that cause you issues in your unit?
Yes, sir.
And did that eventually lead to you transferring from Alaska?
Yes, sir.
Was there a time when she specifically sent you a text and told you that she was pregnant?
Yes.
And did that text also include a ultrasound picture?
Yes.
Did she tell you that she was actually pregnant with twins?
Yes, sir.
Was that another form of manipulation?
Yes, sir.
Sustained. You can ask him how he
Sure.
felt about it.
Did the defendant ever give birth to twins?
No, sir.
Did it ever turn out that she was pregnant with twins?
No, sir.
Sustained. Jury will disregard that answer.
Well, did you ever go to any doctor's appointments with the defendant?
For that specific instance, no.
Okay. Do you know whether she went to any doctor's appointments for that specific incident?
I'm confident that she didn't. No, sir.
So we talked about the sexual harassment claim and that causing tension in your unit, and that eventually leading to you transferring from Alaska, right?
Yes, sir.
When did that actual transfer occur?
Like I said previously, when I say boots on ground, I arrived here February 15th, I believe, 2019.
And I think you had previously said that the defendant preceded your move to Colorado.
Yes, sir.
When did she leave Alaska?
So she wasn't in Alaska. She came to Alaska for a couple weeks or a month, I think in December that would have been 2018. She brought the kids with her, that being Gannon and Lena and Harley as well. And then we stayed there. Actually, we stayed in a house on one of the bases, like a temporary house. And then, I told you, they came ahead of me about a month and a half or so.
Okay. So you're saying that they being the defendant and the kids,
Yeah, all the names I listed, the defendant,
No, this
Harley,
is not a
Gannon, and
death
Lena.
penalty case.
would that have been in January of 2019?
I believe they came in January because we did Christmas in Alaska.
And I think you had previously said that the defendant actually found the 6627 Mandan Drive house, and that's where you all moved into.
Yes, sir.
You remember the defendant filing burglary allegations in 2019?
Yes, sir.
How many different ones did she file?
I believe it was 2, to my recollection.
One of those specific claims was a burglary in the fall of 2019, correct?
Yes, sir.
And there were some things that she pointed to you to support that as being a valid burglary claim.
Yes, sir.
One of which was a hammer hanging from a string in the garage.
Yes, sir.
That included potentially somebody had maybe got into the attic access in the garage.
A squatter is how she referred to it.
Was there ever a squatter in your house?
No, sir. No one was ever found.
Did you have an ammo can in the house?
I did, yes, sir.
Was it dumped out on the floor and made to look as if someone had rummaged through it?
Objection.
Sustained, you can ask him what he found and what it looked like.
Okay. Tell us what you remember about this ammo can.
In this specific break-in allegation, the ammo can, I kept it, I think next to the bed or under the bed or something, and it was open and dumped out like somebody had been rummaging through the ammo can. One of the clothes hampers was dumped out, and the bed was kind of pushed. The mattress was pushed off the box spring, just enough to look like somebody had forced their way through that area.
Did the defendant tell you that that was another piece of evidence or sign that there had been a burglary in your house?
She did.
Was there also a gunshot claim?
There was.
Did this come from the defendant to you?
Yes, sir.
What did she say about that?
She claimed that she fired one
Thank
of the
you,
weapons. I don't remember
Joe.
which one, up the storm well. That's pretty much what summation of it.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Oh, one of the weapons you said. Did you have firearms in the house?
I did, yes, sir.
What kind of weapons?
I had a 9mm, a Smith & Wesson 9mm compact. I had I don't remember the brand, but it was a black and Tiffany green 9mm full size. I also had AR pistol type gun. There was a 20 gauge Benelli youth shotgun and a 12
Did you just say
gauge. It was
Tiffany
all black
green?
shotgun. I forget the brand.
Does he watch Molly Golightly?
And then I think there was at least one Smith & Wesson little 380 compact as well.
So when she's telling you that there was a weapon that she fired in I think you said the storm well, is that the window well?
Yeah, and the specific one was the window well next to, if you remember the picture where the computers were, there was a window well right behind those computers. That's the one she said that she fired it out of.
Look at the middle lawyer.
Did you ever find a shell casing associated with that gunshot?
No, sir.
In that particular, those pistols that you're talking about, the Smith & Wesson 9mm, that what sounds like a Tiffany green or blue 9mm and that 380, are those semi-automatic handguns?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with semi-automatic handguns?
Sir.
Have you fired them?
I don't know specifically the 380.
So what I'm asking is generalized.
Oh,
Have you?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
When you fire those weapons, does the slide automatically slide back and eject the shell casing?
Ejects it and then loads the next round into the chamber.
Did you ever see any evidence that that gun had been fired in that window well in the basement?
No, sir.
Did the defendant ever admit to you that she made up those burglary claims?
Yes, sir.
What did she say?
I don't remember specifics, but I don't know how much you want me to elaborate, but I had to do some digging, and eventually I found out that most of the stories she had told was just not accurate, and then she finally admitted to making up the claims of break-ins. I don't remember if she gave a reason why either.
In your mind, was that another attempt or attempts at manipulating what was happening in your relationship?
Absolutely.
At some point in 2019, did you and the family get into family counseling?
Not family counseling.
Well, counseling.
Yeah, Gannon and Lena specifically.
Okay. What about the defendant?
To my knowledge, I don't think she had counseling.
Okay. Did she make specific comments to you about Gannon that led to you wanting to get Gannon into this counseling?
Yeah, there was two reasons. And do you want me to elaborate on that?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as these are things that she told you as to things that led you to want to get Gannon into counseling.
Yes, sir. One of the reasons is the other reason was, like I said before, he was a mama's boy, and both the kids had struggles with, we had a little bit of back and forth of custody issues. So that was part of the reason. The other reason is she made a claim that he was coming after her to some degree.
He and her.
Gannon coming after the defendant to some degree. And so, once again, twofold mission with the counseling. One, to make sure he's dealing with his, the situation with his mom and being apart from her. And then also the counseling should uncover anything else that's going on or any disdain he had for the defendant.
Who was the defendant closer to as far as the two little kids? So Gannon and Lena.
Lena, undoubtedly.
Did you say undoubtedly?
Absolutely, she was.
Whose idea was it to move Gannon to the basement?
It was mine.
Okay. Did you ever witness Gannon displaying any behavior that would support the claim that Gannon had it out for the defendant?
Absolutely not, towards no one. I absolutely never witnessed that, period.
Did you ever take family trips together?
With the defendant and the 3 children?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Specifically, was there a trip in early January
January.
of 2020?
That would have been just myself and the defendant.
Okay. What was that trip?
It was to celebrate our anniversary, and we went on a cruise out of southern Florida.
Did you need a passport for that cruise?
I don't believe so. No, sir.
Did you ever take any trips with the defendant that required a passport?
I don't remember specifically. We had one when we went through Canada just to get it stamped, just for, remembrance. I don't remember specifically. Well, we did. We went to Mexico. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yep. Sorry, I forgot about that.
that's okay. So that leads to this question. Did you have a passport?
I did. Yes, sir.
When you said you went to Canada to get it stamped?
Mhm.
You have to say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
When you went to Mexico, did you get your passport stamped?
Yes, sir.
Did you see her with a passport?
In Mexico, yes.
Did she get that passport stamped in Mexico?
I don't remember. I would assume it would have had to been, because we went to a resort in Mexico, so.
But you know for a fact that she did have a passport.
She did, absolutely.
In this, and I'm going to ask you to give me a more specific timeline, but in late 2019, early 2020, where was the defendant working at that time?
Early 2020, I don't know, but late in 2019, she was employed, I believe it's Whitefield School District 3 and French Elementary School, as I referenced earlier. She was attempting, is what she
Well,
told.
let me get to that. I'll get to that in just a second. So she was working in late 2019 at Whitefield School District.
Mhm.
That's
sir.
it?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And again, that's for our court reporter.
Absolutely.
She'll get mad at me in a minute if we keep doing that. Was she enjoying her work there?
She was not.
Did she tell you that?
Absolutely.
What did she tell you?
She had a conflict based on her educational status. She had a conflict with a principal where she thought she was more educated and should have more of a leadership role. And then just other stuff surrounding that. I don't remember specifics, but.
So let's unpack that a little bit. When you said that she had a conflict because she felt like she was more educated, you mean the defendant felt like she was more educated than the principal?
Yes, the defendant. Yes, sir.
Did you ever go to French Elementary School?
I did. Yes, sir.
How many times did you go visit her there?
I don't remember exactly, but I would cook lunch and take her lunch for her and her coworkers. And you can elaborate on that a little bit?
So just you would go there and take lunch?
Yeah, with her and sit and eat sometimes with her. Sometimes I would drop it off. Yes,
Did
sir.
you see her interactions with people at the school?
Yes, sir.
Did you see any problems with anybody at the school?
Not with her, the team that she was always with.
That conflict that you described with her and the principal, did that lead to her manipulating, in your mind, getting out of that particular school?
Allow it, overruled.
In my mind, it did, in accompanying with an injury claim she had as well.
Did she, okay, so let's ask, I'm going to ask you about that.
Okay.
Did she specifically tell you about some allegations she made about being injured at the school?
Yes, sir.
What did she tell you?
That she was standing on a bench or standing on the bookshelf or something, but she fell and a bookshelf fell and hit her in the head, and she had a head injury from that.
Did you ever see any signs on the defendant of being injured from either falling or having a bookshelf fall on her head?
No, sir.
Did that lead you to believe that this was another manipulation by the defendant?
Yes, sir.
Did she tell you what kind of work she was hoping to get into?
Yes, sir.
What was that?
She always had talked about wanting to be a airline flight attendant. And so I think from what I understand, she started pursuing that late 2019 through the Christmas holiday and into early 2020.
Who was she pursuing employment with?
Spirit Airlines.
Where's Spirit Airlines out of, to your knowledge?
I have no clue. I know she went to Orlando, Florida for Spirit Airlines training is what she told me.
When did that happen?
I think shortly after Christmas, within a day or two after Christmas, 2019. And it was a short trip.
You mentioned earlier when we were first talking about the weekend of January 25th, Saturday, Sunday, January 26th, your mom being in town.
Yes, sir.
When did your mom get into town here in Colorado Springs?
She was here for about a week, if I remember correctly. I don't remember a specific date, but she was there, I think, that whole week.
Did she stay in a hotel or at the house?
At the house.
Where did she sleep?
Oh, I don't remember that specific time where she slept.
Okay. You mentioned that there was Gannon's bed in his bedroom.
Mhm.
You have to say yes or no.
Yes, sorry.
And then there was a second bed in Gannon's bedroom.
Yes,
And then there was a bed in Harley's bedroom.
yes,
There was the master bedroom.
yes.
And then you had couches both downstairs and upstairs. Do you remember, with that in mind, where your mother slept when she visited you in?
I still don't, not that
Okay.
specific visit.
Okay. How were you and the defendant getting along during this period of time when your mom was visiting?
Not well.
How was the defendant interacting with your mom?
I think it was fine and peaceful. I don't remember it being there any negativity.
Was there anything out of the ordinary?
I don't remember.
Okay. You mentioned going up to DIA on January 25th after having dinner and all that sort of stuff. Is that the last time you saw Gannon alive?
Yes, sir.
Did you say anything to him?
Yeah, he was, we were at the top of the stairs and I was getting ready to leave with mom and me and Gannon were at the top of the stairs and I just gave him a hug and I always used to rub my fingers through his hair and just told him I love you and something I would always tell the kids when I had to leave or when they would go back to their mom's house was like, you know, you're always going to be in my heart and I'm always going to be in your heart. And I'll see you when I get back. And he's like, okay, Daddy, love you. And I'm going to finish watching Pokemon. I remember it like it was yesterday. Yep.
We got into this a little bit earlier about the phones, and I asked you specifically about the phone that was assigned to Gannon and Lena, and whether law enforcement asked you for access to that phone. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Yep, I remember. Oh,
You
sorry.
recognize this?
Absolutely. That's their phone.
What is this?
That's Gannon and Lena's phone from that time period.
Does it appear to be changed at all?
It does not.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for admission of Peoples 228.
No objection.
Exhibit 228 will be admitted.
I asked you earlier about when you would take trips together. Do you remember taking a trip to Hawaii?
Yes, sir.
When did that occur? You okay?
Yes.
Is there Kleenex up there?
Yeah, I got some.
Okay.
I think 2018, spring, it was right before that volcano erupted. So I think it was spring of 2018.
Who went on that trip?
The defendant, myself, all three children, Harley, Gannon, and Elena.
You remember taking a video of Ganon in Hawaii?
Yeah, we took multiple pictures and videos. Yes, sir.
May I approach?
You may.
People's Exhibit number 15. If you need to take it out of the sleeve, you can do that.
Excuse me. I recognize it. I recognize my initials right there.
What is People's Exhibit 50?
Now I also see the date of when I initialed it. It says Facebook video of Gannon Stauch.
Is this a video of Ganon in Hawaii?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
And you saw the content
I
of
did.
this disc?
Yes, sir.
Is it a fair and accurate copy of that recording from Ganon in Hawaii?
Yes, sir.
Or I move for admission of People's 50.
Sweeney,
Good approach.
is there an objection?
Yes, it's relevant.
Alan?
Do you want me to say it from here? Yes.
Yep. All right. Mr. Allen?
Yep. So we'll come back to that in a moment, Al.
I object.
Yeah, Mr. Allen, you need to refer to the witness by Mr. Stauch.
Okay. I want to go back to what we were asking, or what I was asking you about earlier about the defendant telling you that Gannon had it out for her. Did she make a specific comment to you about Gannon and a knife?
Yes, sir.
To you?
Yes, sir.
What was that comment?
Something about he had threatened her with a knife or came at her with a knife.
Did you ever see Gannon threaten anybody with a knife?
No threats ever out of Gannon, knife or no knife.
And was that right before you got Gannon into counseling in 2019?
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you about, specifically, I asked you earlier about trips that you would take together.
Mhm.
You also mentioned that the defendant was trying to get a job with Spirit Airlines.
Yes, sir.
Did she like to travel?
She loved to travel. Yes, sir.
Did she like to travel to Disney?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever go with her to Disney?
Yes, sir. In various configurations of family, I should say.
Did she ever take any other trips that you were aware of, either with you or without you?
Yes, sir.
Did you take cruises with her to the Caribbean?
Yes, sir.
Did she ever take any cruises to the Caribbean by herself that you knew about?
I don't know about by herself. I know with just Harley, I know she took a few.
Okay. What about to Australia?
Never heard of a trip to Australia. No, sir.
What about a trip to Bogota, Colombia?
Never heard of a trip to Bogota, Colombia either, sir.
What about Jamaica?
Don't know about Jamaica. Like I said, she went on trips to the Caribbean, so I can't attest to that.
Okay. You mentioned that cruise in Florida in, I think you said in January 2020 to celebrate your anniversary.
Yes, sir.
That was just you and the defendant.
Yes, sir.
Did you take other cruises together?
Yes, sir.
Did you take a cruise in Southern California?
We left out of Southern California, went to Ensenada.
When was that roughly?
Mexico. While I was in Alaska, I don't remember exactly. So between 2017 and 2018, somewhere.
Did you take another cruise with the defendant in the summer of 2019?
We did, yes, sir.
Who was on that trip?
Myself, the defendant, Harley, and Gannon, and I think one of Harley's friends as well.
You mentioned taking a trip to Mexico. When was that?
That would have been right before I went to Oklahoma for 6 months, so 2016,
Where in Mexico did you go?
Cancun.
Was the defendant with you?
Yes,
Was she with you besides going to the bathroom or shopping or something like that, was she basically with you the whole time during that trip?
yeah. There was one time I was sleeping and she said she went out and got dinner. Other than that, I think we were together 90% of a majority of the trip.
Did she ever tell you about waking up in a tent with cartel members?
Never heard that story from her mouth, sir. No.
Did you ever have stressors in your relationship between you and the defendant as it relates to finances?
Yes, sir.
What kind of lifestyle did the defendant want to live while you were with her? Based on things that either she told you or that you saw?
A classic example is she always compared herself and wanted to be like Kim Kardashian. That was kind of her main thing that she looked towards. I think a best way to sum it up is always wanted to live above our means.
To live above your means?
Yes, sir. That's a good way to sum it up.
Did you agree to being living above your means?
There was examples where I gave and there was examples where I didn't.
But was that ultimately a source of tension between you and the defendant?
Yes, sir.
Did she ever accuse you of infidelity or cheating?
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you about that storage room. Was it typical that you would keep luggage in that storage room?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember any specific suitcases that were kept in there?
Yeah, there was like a reddish orange one. They had some flowery, I don't know how to explain it, but some patterns on it. There was a large green one. I'd say extra large green one, actually. There was a few smaller, like carry-on size black suitcases. So we had quite a few.
Where did the large green one come from?
I believe that, well, I know for a fact it came from Landon, which is Gannon's mother, her Aunt Veronica. Landon took a trip there at some point in mine and Landon's relationship, and she came back with that suitcase full of clothes. And I just kept it after me and Landon split up.
Where, and was that also stored in that storage room?
It was.
Did you ever use that large green suitcase on trips?
I used it more so when I moved or PCS'd. I don't remember using it on a trip or vacation because it was just too big.
Do you remember being shown a picture of a suitcase under a bridge in Florida?
Yes, sir.
Did you recognize that suitcase?
Yes, sir.
What did you recognize it as?
That same extra large green suitcase from my house.
Want to have you flip to People's Exhibit number 48 in that notebook?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
What is that a picture of?
That's a picture of that extra large green suitcase we've been discussing.
Under a bridge?
I can see the footings of the bridge. I can't really see the bridge structure itself, but
Does that appear to be the same suitcase that we've been talking about that Landon's Aunt Veronica gave to Landon when you and Landon were married?
yes, sir.
That was stored in the storage room.
Yes, sir.
You're on move for admission of People's Exhibit 48.
No objection.
Exhibit 48 will be admitted. Go ahead.
And may we publish? Oh, there we go. What do you remember about that suitcase other than it being large?
There was a few things that were broken on it. I don't know if I don't know if the wheel was, but I think the handle on the other side was broken. There's a few things that had just worn down over time on it. But the size is the big thing. I remember how large the suitcase was. So.
Okay. All right. All right, may I approach?
You may.
What's been marked as People's Exhibit number 33. Obviously a disc. Do you recognize this disc?
I do.
How do you recognize it?
Because I initialed and dated it 31 March.
Did you watch the contents of this disc?
I did.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of a video that you have seen?
Yes.
Okay. I move for admission of People's Exhibit 33.
Defense.
Objection.
Exhibit 33 will be admitted. Go ahead.
In permission to publish, right?
You may.
We need the screen, Judge.
It's not, you're not feeding yet. I have a pre-screen up here so that I can see. Okay.
Two, I just don't know what to do.
Well, devastating. Initially, Scott, I can't lie when the TMZ information.
Gannon, I promise it's the last time I'm gonna ask you. I'm just freaked out, okay? Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose? Okay, you promise. You promise. Pinky promise. Okay, all right, so listen. We're, all right, we're gonna have to sell stuff to fix it. Okay? So we figure out what we gotta sell. We can sell the sofa, we can sell whatever, because we gotta get it fixed. So lady, don't be mad at us and kick us out of the house. Okay? You got it? You got it? I'm just worried about my purse. Okay, shh. Listen. So tomorrow,
Tell us a couple of.
Council, approach for a moment, please. It's okay. All right, Mr. Allen?
two, I just don't know what to do.
That you can see. Who is that?
That's Lena, absolutely.
And then the email voice that you hear on that recording, who is that?
Tisha, excuse me, the defendant.
And then the other voice that you hear towards the end, whose voice is that?
Those are the last words I ever heard Gannon speak.
Want to have you jump back into that binder, Mr. Stauch, and look at People's Exhibits 19 and 20. Ones I mistakenly tried to admit without any foundation earlier.
Okay.
You recognize those?
19 and 20, yes, sir.
Are those, well, what are they?
Those are two different angles, pictures of Gannon in his bed.
Have you seen those pictures before?
I have, yes, sir.
When did you see them?
I don't want to mix it up. I know I've seen them in through various things, but one of these specifically, or at least one, if not both, the defendant sent to me that morning, which would have been Monday, the 27th.
Okay, so we're talking about January 27th of 2020?
Yes, sir.
And then you received those specifically from the defendant?
Yes, sir.
What method did you receive them from?
Text message.
Text message. Are they fair and accurate copies of the photos that you received on January 27, 2020?
Yes, sir.
I move for admission and permission to publish 19 and 20.
Mr. Tellini? Exhibits 19 and 20 will be admitted.
So I think we have People's Exhibit 19 up on the screen now. Tell the jury what we're looking at in People's 19.
So once again, that's Gannon in his bed. I referenced the TV off to the left. You can see it here, a TV in his dresser. The table we discussed earlier, and then once again, there's Gannon in his bed.
Is that typically the way Gannon would sleep in his bed with the blankets just piled on top like that?
No, sir. There was a couple things I noticed that were different. There seemed to be a big, I don't know, pillow or bulge or something down here. I don't remember this red and green blanket actually being on his bed. We've discussed that. I don't remember that.
Okay.
I can't say 100% that it wasn't ever, but
And then People's 20? This basically just another depiction of that same scene?
yeah, it appears to be. I mean, I think it's different though, because is it okay if I show
Well,
differences?
let me ask you this. What is there a difference between the two photos based on your observations?
Yeah,
of it?
absolutely.
What are those differences?
If you look at where his hand is here, and if you look, if we can go back to the other one, his hands are in a totally different position. See how his hands were crossed right here, the blanket's kind of pulled back a little bit. And then a huge thing to me was his bed was almost never pulled away from the wall like this. And we discussed that in a previous photo, that his bed was almost always pushed up against the wall.
And then that the bulge that you referenced in the other photo in People's 19
Same as right here, yeah, right there,
and then 20.
right here. And notice that difference as well.
And do you even recognize that particular blanket, or was you recognize it, but you don't think it was typically on Gannon's bed?
Yeah, that blanket is one that was in our house somewhere. I just don't think it was a typical blanket. It wasn't his.
Was not his.
It was not his blanket, and it was not typically on his bed.
Okay. You can take that down for now. I want to jump back, Mr. Stauch, to when we were talking about your trip to Hawaii in 2018. And I previously showed you People's Exhibit number 50, which was that disc. I think I might have left it up here. Let me check, actually.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You want to, this time I move for admission of People's request permission to publish.
Mr. Tellini,
Subject to prior objection.
objections?
That was me. I hit the mic.
Okay, all right. The objection's overruled. Exhibit 50 is admitted.
And permission to publish, huh?
You may.
So before we start playing People's Exhibit 50, who do we see on screen there?
That's Gannon.
Go ahead and play it.
Guys, where are you at? In Hawaii, go.
When you got back from Oklahoma, Mr. Stauch, did you participate in searches for Gannon?
Yes, sir.
Tell the jury about what you did to look for Gannon.
The first day, which would have been Tuesday, 28th, left the airport and then came home and just got somewhat organized. And then there was a story about Gannon running away or walking away. And there was, somebody said they might have seen him at a gas station in Fountain. And
So let me ask you specifically, you don't know whether that was a true statement or not, correct?
in the moment I didn't, no.
Okay. But did that cause you to go do things to see if that was in fact a legitimate sighting of Ganon?
Yes, sir.
What did you do?
Myself and the defendant in my truck, my red Nissan truck, drove to that gas station. I went in, well, I think I met the officer there, if I remember correctly, and went in and watched whatever he allowed me to watch the footage of what boy that was alleged to be Gannon coming in and out of the store, and so I could confirm if it was him or not.
Was it Ganon?
It was not. It was another boy with his father that, or whatever, another boy with an older man.
Just wasn't Ganon.
It just was not Gannon, no, sir.
What else did you specifically do to look for Ganon?
There was times when after the day was over, I'd drive around at night just seeing if I could spot him. That specific, I believe it was Tuesday as well, I had been downtown to the sheriff's office, given an interview, and then came back home and checked on the girls, being Harley and Lena, and then told them I was going out searching again, and went to the Walmart in Fountain. I was heading to the Walmart in Fountain. Just maybe he's in the video game section or GameStop or something. Just thinking of places he would be. And then it occurred to me, or I remembered that the defendant had said her car was at French Elementary School. And so I never actually went to Walmart. I went directly to French Elementary School to look for her vehicle.
And you previously told us that you didn't see her vehicle there.
Absolutely not. I drove around the school 3 times just to make sure I wasn't missing it.
Did she ever tell you where her car actually was?
Never did. That was the only thing she ever told me, was that I left it at French Elementary School.
At some point, based on things that you're learning, did you, in your mind, did it change from Gannon didn't come home from a friend's house to something different?
That was really the key moment. There was a lot of things we've discussed, a number of them, some discrepancies in the pictures, the rent-a-car situation. I think I had already known at that point that I had talked to my neighbors and surveillance from their house. He had never walked.
Sustained.
Well, I think what he's describing, Judge, is what he saw on surveillance.
You can't talk about what your neighbor said to you, but you can describe what you saw on the surveillance tape. Okay.
So 2 different circumstances. This is not the surveillance tape of the truck. This is.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you have an occasion to see surveillance video from neighbors in your neighborhood? Did you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see Gannon ever walking away on those videos from your house and never returning?
I did not. No, sir.
Okay.
So back to.
So, well, I have
okay.
to ask a question.
Okay.
So you were earlier describing an accumulation of things that led you to change your opinion or your mind as to what actually happened with Gannon.
Yes, sir.
And you said, I think one of the big things was the defendant telling you that her car was at French, you go to French, and it's not there.
Yes, sir.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, that was the key moment when I switched from, she knows more than she's telling me she knows.
Did you also participate in interviews at the sheriff's office as it relates to the investigation into Gannon's disappearance?
I did, yes, sir.
How many times did you go to the sheriff's office?
Twice on that day, once before the driving to French, and then immediately following that, I called them and said something's wrong, and I went immediately back to the sheriff's office after that.
In that same time frame, did the defendant add any additional information that she told to you as it relates to Gannon's missing?
I don't believe so. I don't think so.
Well, did she at some point tell you that she was raped?
That was the next morning.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What did she say about being raped?
I'm not sure the date.
Sure, I'll clarify. We were talking about January 28th.
Yes, sir.
Just
Tuesdays,
now
yeah.
about you doing interviews at the sheriff's office. You said the next morning, so that would be January 29th. Is that accurate?
Wednesday, January 29th. Yes, sir.
What did the defendant tell you on January 29th as it relates to being raped?
So I slept on the couch. She called me into the room, and then she proceeded to tell me a story about how a man got in the house somehow. I don't remember that specific version, but he got in the house, raped her, abused her, beat her, and then beat Gannon up and took Gannon. And you want me to keep going on that specific?
I want you to tell what she said in that particular story.
Right, and then she also said he had got burned, and that, and then she said that, well, I said, well, where's everything at? Like all the mess, the blood and everything. She said, well, I cleaned it up. I got scared, and so okay, well, where's the bloody mess, the clothes, the rags, whatever? Well, I disposed of it. Well, where did you dispose of it? It wasn't in the trash can at the house. It was somewhere else. And it was just this long string of stuff.
Okay, so let me break in there.
Sure.
It sounds like the way you're describing that's a discussion that you had specifically with her, where you're asking her questions and she's responding to your questions.
Well, there was two parts, and that's why I asked you about elaborating. The first one was just her talking.
Okay. And so, but the last part that you just described, it sounded like you were describing an interaction where you're asking questions and she's answering questions.
Yes, and at this point, Landon was also sitting in there talking with us as well, just to clarify.
When you had the opportunity to view neighbors, I guess ring doorbells or surveillance videos, did you see any strange men on those videos going to your house?
So to clarify, I did, and it was stopped because it was hearsay, but I never saw surveillance of him leaving or not leaving on foot. And I'm sure we'll get to the other surveillance later, but I never saw that. That was just what the neighbors told me. So
What I'm asking you right now, Al, or Mr. Stauch, I apologize, is did you see on any of the neighborhood video any strange men going into or out of your house?
Sure.
When
I think he just said he'd never watched any videos. This was just what the neighbors had told him.
that's not what he said.
No, he overruled. We asked the question.
Yep. Just so the record is very clear.
Okay.
Did you watch surveillance video from neighbors in your neighborhood to see anything as it relates to Gannon's disappearance?
No, sir.
You didn't watch
Well,
any videos?
Well, I did watch the one video with the truck, but I don't think we've gotten there yet, or we're there. I don't know where we're at.
Okay.
Mr. Allen, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. What I'm asking is very specifically, did you watch some neighborhood video from neighborhood surveillance video about the time that Gannon went missing?
I watched one, and that was him leaving the truck and coming back home. That's
Okay.
the only one I watched.
Okay, so you didn't watch any other videos to see, to either confirm or not confirm that a strange man had come into the...
I've seen nothing
Okay,
else.
all right, thank you for clarifying that. At some point, did you become involved in the investigation?
Yes, sir.
Tell the jury about that.
At some point, and I don't know the reasons why, but I was directed to go to the FBI's office and start, I call it being questioned, but just kind of given a background history of our relation, mine and the defendant's relationship, and kind of what we've been doing so far this morning. And from that, it turned into pretext phone calls.
Okay, what do you mean by pretext phone calls?
Phone calls where I would get on the phone with the defendant while I was at the FBI office and be giving direction, and they also gave me the flexibility to talk with her normally, but be giving direction on things to say and things to ask and whatnot.
Who was involved with that process? Obviously you were, but who else from the investigation side was involved in that process?
So, of course, yeah, I was there. The defendant was on the phone, and then there was Mark Riley was present.
So I'm going to break in every time you say a name. Who is Mark Riley?
Mark Riley, I think a detective at the sheriff's office or investigator. I'm not sure his role at the time. Jess Bethel, a similar role to Mr. Riley, from what I understand. FBI agent, Mr. Hughes. I don't know his title, a specific title. Amber Cronin.
Who was Amber Cronin with?
FBI as well. John, I always say his name wrong, Grusing.
Grusing?
With the FBI. I saw in passing other agents, but those were the ones that I remember being specifically in there. There may have been others. I don't remember specifically.
Do you remember maybe like this agent back here, Andrew Cohen?
I remember him walking around a lot. I don't remember him being specifically with me on any of the phone calls. I may be wrong about that, but
Would these phone calls originate sometimes by you calling the defendant and other times where the defendant would call you?
yes, sir.
How do you know that it was the defendant on the other end of that phone?
I recognize her voice, and we would always talk about something relevant that would, I would know it was her, whether it was Gannon or something about our relationship or our life in general.
Would you also in those conversations talk about specifics to the investigation?
Yes, sir.
Would the FBI agents or the sheriff's office agents, detectives, pass information to you to specifically ask the defendant?
Yes, sir.
On some of those recorded phone calls, can you actually hear people whispering to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Judge, what I intend to get into next is admitting discs and then playing those discs. And some of these phone calls are pretty long. I don't know if you want to go through the admission now and then we can do that other process when we get back, or.
So are any of them less than, say, 15 minutes?
Because of contextual issues, I think it makes sense to play them in order as opposed to breaking them up. The very first one is an hour and 57 minutes.
All right, so let's do the foundational elements necessary for admission.
Okay.
And then we can play them after lunch. And probably just admit all of them at the same time.
Yep.
And then go from there.
And so for the record, Judge, what I'll be showing him for admission is People's Exhibits 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59.
Okay,
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
you may go ahead.
Can I just stay up here with this?
Yeah, that's fine.
People's Exhibit 35, obviously a disc again. Do you recognize it?
To the front of it. Yes, my initials and the date.
Have you had a chance to listen to this recording that's on this disc?
Yes.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of that phone call?
Yes, sir.
People's Exhibit 36, do you have your initials and date on that one as well?
Yes, sir.
Did you listen to this recording?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair and accurate representation of that recording?
Yes, sir.
People's 37, are your initials and date on this?
Yes, sir.
Have you had a chance to listen to this item?
Yes.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of that recording?
Yes.
People's 38, do you have your initials and date?
Yes, sir.
Have you listened to the contents of this disc?
Yes, sir.
Is it a fair and accurate representation?
Yes, sir.
39, do you have your initials and date?
Yes.
Have you had a chance to listen to the contents of this disc?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair and accurate?
Yes, sir.
40, are your initials and date on this?
Yes.
Have you listened to the contents of this disc?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair and accurate?
Yes.
51, are your initials and date on this disc?
Yes.
Have you listened to the contents?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair and accurate?
Yes.
52, are your initials and date on this disc?
Yes.
Have you listened to the contents?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair and accurate?
Yes, sir.
53, are your initials and date on this disc?
Yes, sir.
Have you listened to the contents?
Yes, sir.
Fair and accurate?
Yes.
54, date and initials on this disc?
Yes.
Have you listened to the contents of this disc?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair and accurate?
Yes.
55 are your initials on this disc?
Yes.
Have you listened to the contents?
Yes.
Fair and accurate?
Yes.
56 are your initials on this disc?
Yes.
You listen to the contents?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Fair and accurate?
Yes, sir.
57 are your initials and date on this disc?
Yes.
Did you listen to the contents?
Yes, sir.
Fair and accurate?
Yes, sir.
Tedious, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Uh, You see your initials and date on this disc?
Yes, sir.
Have you listened to the contents?
Yes.
Is it fair and accurate?
Yes, sir.
You didn't identify that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, 58.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And then 59, initials and date?
Yes, sir.
Have you listened to the contents?
Yes.
And is it fair and accurate?
Yes, sir.
This time I move for admission of those exhibit numbers, and I can reread them, or if you have them.
I have them. Mr. Tellini?
No.
All right, exhibits 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59 will be admitted.
Oh, whoops.
Council approach, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think you know where this is going and what my conversation was about. We are going to take our lunch break a little bit early. We'll have you come back a little bit early too. And when we come back, we will be playing, it sounds like the telephone calls one after the other. So if I can have everyone back in the jury rooms at about 1:15 so that we can start at say 1:20. Again, do not discuss the case among yourselves. Do not do any research about any aspect of this case. Do not discuss the case with anyone else either. Mr. Combs had relayed to me a question by a juror as to whether or not you can receive a transcript at the end of the trial. The answer to that is no. The transcript is for other purposes. No jury is ever provided with a transcript of the court proceedings as they are occurring. So you'll have to rely on your individual and collective memory as well as any notes that you take, but you will not receive a transcript. So with that, I think it's still a nice day. We're not to tomorrow
That was a
yet
hard
when it's
no
not
on
supposed
that.
to be. So if you want to take a walk around the courthouse, something like that, that would be a good thing to do. Again, you already know where all of the eating joints are here in
He
Colorado
said
Springs.
eating joint.
And we'll see you back at about 1:15. All rise for the jury, please.
He's got some kind of post-it note. All right, we've got Trump over here. I don't know if he's in the court. That's what I heard. Welcome back, Rose. Good to see you. Welcome, NC Rain. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the lounge. I know I told you in chat, but
Thank you. You may all be seated. Mr. Stauch, you can go ahead and step down from the stand now.
get your hand out of your shirt, you itchy
And
bitch.
I don't see any reason to have Mr. Stauch sitting on the witness stand while we play these are just phone calls. It's all audio, right?
They're all audio. There may be some times where I want to pause it and ask him a specific question, especially at the beginning when we hear voices, who
Okay.
that voice is, that kind of thing. But I think once we get started into the meat of them, I think we can let him down if it's okay with
Okay.
you.
It's fine by me. It would just be a little bit awkward having him sitting there and not saying anything for, it sounds like we're talking about more than 5 or 10 minutes.
Yes.
So we'll leave it at that. Is there anything else that we need to address at this point in time? Prosecution?
No, you are.
Defense?
That's it.
Okay. All right, then court will be in recess. Thank you.
All rise.
All rise. Oh, there's her nasty ass. All right, we are officially on lunch. So let's close that out. We are going to catch up on what is going on in the world really quick. Whoops. Oops, I sound like the... I didn't notice I said that a lot until the judge started doing that.
Okay. So we're good? We're okay. All right. Okay. Okay. That's okay.
Okay. That was the judge yesterday, guys, if you missed it. This judge is a hoot. We love him. He's very real, very down to earth. How do I get rid of his picture, though? Okay, there we go. All right, so we're looking at a live look of the courthouse there in New York. I also have a story I want to share. I just got this on Newsbreak. And the FBI is offering a reward and a missing Michigan woman. And I have never even heard of this case. So let me show you. So we come back from lunch. They're going to be playing some phone calls. And it sounds like they're going to be kind of long. So it should be interesting. All right. So we have a missing woman out of Portage, Michigan. And the FBI is offering $20,000 for tips. For tips. Heather Mae Kelly, 35, has been missing since December 10th, 2022. And the FBI Detroit Field Office and the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office are seeking assistance locating her. According to the FBI's Detroit Field Office, evidence suggests Kelly may have been the victim of a homicide. The FBI is offering a reward. This is her. She was born June 18th, 1987. She has blonde hair and brown eyes, 5'8", 125 pounds, and she's white. And there is no Heather Mae Kelly. Heather Mae Kelly. There's no circumstances, though, with this, but I'm going to go ahead and retweet that. It says here you can submit tips by contacting a local FBI office, the nearest American embassy or consulate, or tips.fbi.gov. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Here is the baby picture. Oh my gosh, you guys. The baby picture of Ganon. I've never seen it. Hold on. The baby picture that his dad saw when he sat down. Look how cute he was. How could this bitch be so evil? To hurt him not one way, but three ways. Are you thinking of Caitlin Armstrong, Mandy? £1 preemie. Look. He had a 10% chance of survival. He was born 1 pound, 6 ounces, 12 inches long. This child was a miracle. And that evil bitch snuffed him out. His bio mom is Landon, and she is there. She's in court. The dad took custody for a bit. She was having some issues, and she was working on herself. And the dad said that, you know, he would take Gannon while she worked on herself. And this is what happened. His wife killed him. And she says, I was chosen to be the mom of an angel. Landon breaks my heart. And you guys can put exclamation point justice to fill the chat with blue for Mr. Gannon. I know, look at him with that baby. He loved that baby. That child would have never hurt anybody. This is something that Al said at a event they had, and a eulogy. It says, this is his earnest message about the fragility of life. Let's see.
I always thought of Ganon as my real brother. And I know that there's nobody in the world just like him. And he's very special, and I wouldn't be the same person I am without him. I know he made me a better person. I'm really thankful to have him in my life. I love him so much. And I just really wish he could still be here with us. But I know he is, so I'm very thankful for that.
I know, those pesky ads. I know this is heartbreaking. I think there's more, though. I think it's just broken up with this ad. Hold on.
Ganon as my real brother.
Oh, no.
And I know that there's nobody in the world just like him. And he's very special, and I wouldn't be the same person I am without him. I know he made me a better person. I'm really thankful to have him in my life. I love him so much. And I just really wish he could still be here with us. But I know he is, so I'm very thankful for that.
That is so sad. And this is what Al said. Hold your children close and love them, because when it's over, and you can't get it back. They have the full video on Facebook. Oh my God, so sad. Guys, I don't think I can handle it. I think we're going to have to go to Trump, because I don't think I can handle it. It's too much. It's too fucking sad. I can't believe how brutal she was to him. They abolished the death penalty. There's no death penalty in Colorado anymore. She's an evil, evil bitch. She is. All right, let's see what's going on in Trump land. As much as I hate to. They're literally just standing around waiting for something to happen. Why do I have two of these windows? I gotta get rid of that. Okay. I get crazy and get too many things going on at once. So let's see if we can get some updates from the web. Uh-oh. Protesters are getting physical outside. A woman wearing a Make America Great Again hat fell to the ground after trampling an anti-Trump flag strewn across the ground near the New York City courthouse where former President Trump is set to be arraigned Tuesday. According to photos of the chaotic scene, the Trump supporter ran across and grabbed a large banner with the words "Trump lies all the time" written on it. She then fell onto the ground and laid on the flag before she was confronted by protesters wearing shirts calling for the arrest of the former president. The scuffles between Trump supporters and protesters came ahead of Trump's highly anticipated arrival to the court for an arraignment hearing scheduled for Tuesday afternoon. And here is the stupid flag. Look at this stupid shit. Y'all are gonna... Dude, this is embarrassing. It's to the point where this is just downright embarrassment. I just can't. I mean, do these people have nothing better to do? Do I think she was brutal with him because he was a mama's boy? Probably. Can you imagine when he came there and lived with Al and Teabag? I bet you he missed his mom, and he probably wanted his mom a lot. You know how kids are. They're away from home. You know, he lived with his mother. He didn't live with Al, you know, normally. So he's away from home, and he probably wanted his mom a lot. And you know that probably got on her nerves and made her jealous because she's a crazy bitch. I can't with people that get jealous over little kids. I can't. How do you do that? How do you get jealous over kids? It's weird. He's being processed. Is he getting a mugshot? Look at that. Is that Molly Golightly? I'm dead ass. Is that her? Look at this stupid bitch. Is it her? Look at her. It looks like her. Oh, no, I guess it's not. Close enough. Damn. It could be your sister. Really? Mike, are you streaming now? Mike, do you have a channel that we can follow? Are you have you figured out the streaming part? It does look like her until you get to this shot, but it could be her sis, man. That calls for a yikes.
Yikes.
Look at this idiot. This guy looks like Tom Petty, but I know it's not because he's passed away. Is this our Fox reporter over here, the one that got the nasty emails from the Brian person? Here, let me make it bigger. Is that our Derek Shook? Betty Joe, yeah, I know why they're doing it. It's stupid. But we don't really know what the charges are. It's something about hush money for it looks like Cindy Anthony. It's like over hush money for this stripper or whatever. But Hunter Biden is still walking around with his dick in his hand. Like, what is that all about? How is it not good for the goose? It's good for the gander. And if we're going to start prosecuting presidents and senators and congressmen for their affairs and their hush money and the shit they buy their girlfriends, then I guess we're going to have a lot of indictments coming up. And that's why I think it's horse shit. If it's something other than that, I'd be willing, to hear that out. But anything for this hush money, if we're going to hold them accountable, we got to hold them all accountable, not just Donald Trump. And I'm not saying that because I'm a huge Trump supporter, but damn, I mean, you look at how many of these senators and congressmen have done some nasty shit. Look at J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover had his agents getting porn and putting it in a file for his personal fucking collection. Bullshit. And he's got the damn FBI building named after him. It's like, that dude was the sickest dude I've ever heard about. I just recently did a deep dive into J. Edgar Hoover. And let me tell you, he is a dirty man. Was a dirty man. Dirty. Yeah, Bill Clinton's getting BJs in the Oval Office, and it's A-okay. Mike Sanner says the fallout from this will be much better to watch than this beginning stuff. I don't want to see any of it. I just, look at this. God, we just look so stupid. This is just the worst message we can send to the world, is to show how divided and stupid we are publicly. And that's what these people do every day. They show how freaking dumb they are every day. And every day, the Chinese leaders and the Russian leaders and everybody else sees how dumb we are.
Why are people such idiots?
Nancy, I wish I knew. I wish to hell I knew. They're all perverts. They're all perverts. You're right. They're all pervs. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of them getting away with being pervs. But if you're going to hold one accountable, you got to hold all the pervs accountable. And that's it. That's how it should be. Yeah, they laugh at us. Ain't no aliens wanting to come here. There's no hope. They'll go to other countries first, where there's still intelligent life available. I don't want to see any of our ex-presidents in handcuffs. But you know what? If we're going to hold them all together, hold them all accountable, hold them all accountable. If you're not, don't. It's stupid. This is a distraction, a waste of money, and a waste of time. 100% agree with you, Megan. I am center of the road thinker, and I think it's dumb. What's Biden doing while this is going on is what I want to know. Cammy, I love it. She has an alien t-shirt that says, "This place sucks." I'm going back. The aliens probably have t-shirts that say, "I went to Earth and all I came back with was this lousy t-shirt," because they're all idiots. Yeah, we're free to be as dumb as we want to be, as Chinese balloons. Did you hear the latest on the Chinese balloon? The Chinese balloon was collecting intelligence in real time as it flew over our country. Real time. It's like they wanted them to do it. Yeah, they're pedophiles. They're nasty. No, we haven't seen Trump. He's being indicted for hush money to a former stripper and porn star, is all we know. So the indictment was sealed, and I don't know if it's going to be unsealed. And he's supposed to be in front of a judge at 2:15. So Trump arrived ahead of scheduled arraignment. Trump described the surreal journey to the courtroom, says he can't believe this is happening in America. Okay, so here's some fast facts. Let me mute this and I'll read you guys some fast facts. Trump has been indicted as part of the Manhattan DA's office years-long investigation. District Attorney Alvin Bragg has been investigating Trump for hush money payments. Stormy Daniels received $130,000, and former Playboy model Karen McDougal, not to be mixed up with Karen McDonough, Karen McDougal received $150,000. Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to arranging payments to Daniels and McDougal, and Cohen actually did time for this, I believe. Former legal advisor to Cohen, Robert Costello, testified before the grand jury that Cohen was a serial liar.
Because you're a liar.
And I've got a picture of him walking into the courtroom. Hang on. Or maybe he's outside of Trump Tower. I don't know. He's all over Truth Social. He's posting his every move, I guess. Hi, Mrs. Kurt. And here is a picture. Why is it not coming up? He doesn't look really happy. I mean, if that makes anybody happy here. Looks a tad annoyed. Which I do. I think this is totally stupid. Look at his badass Secret Service agent, though. He's like, dude, his eyebrows are so bushy that you can see them from the side sticking out. Right. He didn't do this as president, right? Do you think it'll all be kept under seal, though, Mike? Oh my gosh. I think Amazon's here. Speaking of Amazon, the puppy dogs have an Amazon wish list. Oh my God, they're going nuts too. Sorry about that. Let me see. Where is my camera? I don't even know where anything is. There's that. Here we go. Oh no, that's them. That's Summer's big butt. Summer has a big butt and she cannot lie. Summer Lou. Bella is the one with the big mouth around here. She's the one that's like, somebody's here. She always lets me know. There's Summer Lou. Summer. Hi, Summer. She won't. Don't turn around. I'm trying to find my camera. I don't know where it went. They have to reveal charges in order to proceed. Can't charge someone and not tell them what it is. No, I mean, tell that. I know he can know, but I'm saying, is the public, are we, the people, going to be able to see it? Are we going to get a copy of that indictment? Ooh-wee. Hello, YouTube. Christ almighty. How are we? It was hair washing today, so these dreads are wet and heavy. Nancy's eating ice cream. I haven't had anything to eat yet today. Oh, I know. There she goes again. I think it'll stay sealed too. I mean, if Idaho 4 is staying sealed, what makes you think this won't be, you know? Hey, Ann. Summer. She's so stubborn. Summer Lou. Hey, I could be like all those YouTubers that do this. Welcome to the 411 with Jay. I'm your host, Jay. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for supporting us. We are here tonight to talk to you about the Idaho 4. Who am I? Is that why they do it? Because they're camera shy? It makes them feel better to have shades on? Oh my God, Potato. I can't with you. She took a nap and woke up and thought it was the next day. Where's Big Blue when you need him? Oh, man. Yeah, they're wet and it takes forever to dry. I don't know why they do glasses. Maybe someone said camera shy. It doesn't make me feel any better. Like, it doesn't make me feel any different. You think so, Michael? Let me know when it's released because I want to read that indictment. I think he ended the WebEx for lunch too. So guys, check this out. I'm going to share the new setup with you that I'm working on. Okay, so this is the start screen right here. And this is like, okay, we're getting ready to fire it up. Oh, Summer Lou's camera shy. Oh, okay. I thought you meant the glasses. I'm a dum-dum. And then we have an intermission screen, which I need. Oops. I need to add my my camera to this. Isn't this a cool screen? I just wish I could get rid of it where it says intermission. It's like a pre-made thing. And I don't want it to say intermission, really. So, and police.